Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newest episode of Avillion and Brayden Talks. We've got stuff to talk about today.
A lot of things
We're
to
both
discuss.
got some stuff we need to talk about today. So before we get into the football kind of stuff we usually do, Jacob, what's on your mind? How you doing? What you thinking about over there?
See, I'm doing well. What I'm thinking about, I'll get to after you're done talking about how you're doing.
Well,
I've got, I've
my
got
when you toss it over to me, I'm going into my thing. So I figured you'd go
right,
into
right. No, no,
yours.
no, no, no. I have I had the rant I was talking about earlier. That's gonna
Yeah.
come after you tell the fine folks about you. I do have, I guess, a life update. I was at my mom's Saturday night, chilling out with my mom, getting drunk with my mom. That was awesome. Fucking love my mom. Love drinking with my mom. Always a good time. Hanging out with my mom, my sister, and their dog, sweet dog. Um, and my mom told me that my grandfather has skin cancer.
Mm.
Now they caught it very early because he gets like these like pre-cancer bumps on his head sometimes. So he goes every 6 months just to get screened and get it looked at. So they caught it early. You know, he hadn't been too long since he'd been. So once he realized there was something developing on his head, it's not melanoma. It's not like a bump in the skin. It's like I don't know what it is, but it's very itchy. So he, went to the doctor, got tested, found out he had skin cancer, but very optimistic about it. So he's been doing radiation treatment. He's doing it twice a week for 7 weeks, and I called him today, a couple hours ago, just to check in with him, see how he's doing. We were on the phone about 20 minutes, so he's in good spirits. But it was just something that obviously you don't want to hear. You don't want to hear that your grandfather has cancer. So, he's it's October. It's that crucial catch month. So, hopefully he kicks its ass. I think he will. He's a very strong guy. And again, they caught it early. It's not, not very strong right now. So, all signs looking good. So not too bad. Other than that, though, I mean, been doing pretty well lately. Honestly, I've been in better spirits this past week or so than I think that I have been in a while.
Okay,
So, yeah, I
that's
mean, life's
good.
kicking up. I just got money from my parents. This account they had set up for me when I was younger. I don't know if I talked about that last week or not because I think I learned about it last week.
I don't think
Or maybe
so.
I.
You've told
Oh,
me
that was
individually, but
because I missed the phone call. She called me while we were recording.
oh, that's what that
And
phone
then
call
after
was.
the pod, I called her back, and that's when she let me know. So, my parents had set up a savings account for me when I was younger, and what do you call it? They had totally forgotten about it until my dad happened to be in Tennessee for work and got an email from the bank, and so he went to the bank that that they had set the accounts up at. So he was able to withdraw the money from my sister's account, and then the money in my account because I'm an adult now. I had to email them and ask them to send it. So, and there was one for my brother initially, but my mom took out of it to help pay for a down payment on a house once. So it was just my account, my sister's account. So my mom split it up into three equal parts to give to my brother, my sister, and myself.
Oh, okay.
So I
I
got
was like,
some of that
whoa,
money.
crazy part of the
Yeah,
story to just
I
drop.
got I got some of that money yesterday. So it's pretty cool. And so that's good news. It's good news. It's always nice to come into possession of like it was a little over $1,800. So like, hey,
Mm.
I'll fucking take it. All right, that's rent and a little more. So more than happy. But very very good news. I haven't had an emergency fund in a while. It's been like a year since I've had like a decent bit of money in my savings. So because there's always something. It's just how it goes. So now I have an emergency fund at least. So that's good.
That's
Um,
great and very
yeah.
important.
So not a whole lot else other than
Emergencies never
that.
happen in Florida.
No, no, not at all. No. But no, I took a nap yesterday when I got home from work, and then when I woke up, my friend started purring over here. So my little buddy started purring, and that was very sweet. He was laying in that little cat thing right there. Nothing else. Nothing else to report though. That's all my news. He's sitting over here actually. Hi, baby. Sir, give me the development you have. I know you said you had something special
So
too.
I'm gonna first. Let's kick it off with the girl boss affirmation, so I don't forget, so I don't get lost in the
Okay. All
sauce.
right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Fair enough.
From June Jordan, we are the ones we have been waiting for.
Mm,
I like it.
I think so too.
You are capable of making the change. You don't gotta wait for others to do it. You can be your own hero. You don't have to wait around for someone else to be one.
Kicking the can down the road for the next generation is precisely how you end up with today's problems in the first place.
Generations of I'll make the world better for the next to come after me, and then one generation was just like, yeah, fuck these kids.
And still are. Like I read this thing the other day, and it was like it was this guy. He was on. It was like a rant on Reddit or something. He was like, "So what the fuck's wrong with our parent?" He was talking about his wife's dad and his dad. He was like, "I was talking with my father-in-law the other day, and he said he has something about like 10 million in his account, and then I was talking to my dad about it, and he said he's doing just a little bit better than I am." He's like, my wife and I are fucking struggling right now. Our parents are millionaires. What the fuck? And yeah, you're right. It was, I don't know if it was Hamilton. It was somebody, one of the founding fathers. And it was a quote of like, my kid, or I'm a politician so that my son can be a painter or some shit like that. Like, wouldn't have to worry about it. And it's like, when did we lost the plot somewhere because I couldn't even fathom letting my kids struggle if I was incredibly well off financially. If I had a few million sitting in the bank, at the very least, I'm buying my kids a brand new car, something that's not going to break down. So that way, that's one less thing they have to worry about. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying pay their bills for them, but help them out a little bit, upgrade them.
I get that it's hard to balance, like, doing what's best for your kids in terms of, like, letting them handle things themselves versus doing it for them. Balance is the scales got tipped too far one way.
Yes,
a little while ago.
Yes, I think there was one generation that kind of cooked that for us all. So good quote. Stop kicking the can down the road. If you want change in this world, do your best to bring it out. Do what you can. Yeah. If everybody just did what they can, we'd be in a much better position right now. So sorry, you got something on your mind.
Yes, I hope I don't forget a detail. A lot happened.
I remember you did say you had a crazy story for the
I
pod.
told y'all I had a story no matter how this ended up. And then I had to double back a little later and be like, I didn't realize how true this was going to be. Stuff just kept happening.
Okay, let me know. Let a man know.
All right, I hope I don't forget everything.
Folks at home know too.
So,
if you forget anything and you remember like 20 minutes later, don't hesitate to interrupt me if I'm talking and give the detail. Like,
I've told the story twice now, so I think I remember I should be better at having everything lined up. Okay. So a little while back, me and one of my best friends, Richard, who's done my tattoos, we planned and put together a trip for us to quickly go to Philly, watch Shane Gillis comedy special or a comedy show out there in Philly and come back.
That was a few weeks, like a month ago or so, I remember.
Yeah, when we had like planned it. It was this past weekend is when it was going to be.
Okay.
So, original plan. We're supposed to leave Thursday night, get there at 5 a.m., check into an Airbnb, chill for a little bit, see the show, go back the next morning.
Yeah.
Thursday, the day we're supposed to leave for the flight, late, at night. I'm driving home from work, and he calls me.
Uh-oh.
And he says, dude, what he says is, our flight got canceled. Panic. We're like, oh no, are we gonna miss this trip? We started thinking of, are we gonna have to like drive? We'd have to have started driving at that exact moment to Philly to try and catch it in time.
Yeah.
So what really happened was because we had a layover in Denver. What really happened was our first flight was delayed so much that we would have missed our connection to actually go to Philly.
Okay.
So we're freaking out. I'm freaking out so much. As I was driving home, I took a wrong turn because I was like, "Oh shit, we're gonna miss this fucking show." I was like, because he stunned me, he shocked me. I get home, he calls me back, and he's like, "Okay, we can take a flight early tomorrow morning, in that Friday, the same day of the show. But we're gonna have to drive to Austin, take the flight, come back."
Okay.
And I'm like, cool, that's fine. So I wake up super early in the morning. I wake up at like 6 a.m. I think the flight ended up being at noon. So I wake up at 6 a.m., pick him up, get over there. We're like, we got here way too fucking soon. Because his mom had kind of gotten in his head a little bit about like being there super early. because I just went off what time he told me to pick him up.
That's what I was saying.
And because it was in Austin, the weekend of Georgia, Texas, and F1 is doing something in Austin. So I think that's why his mom was concerned.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
Good. So looking back, like we still got there way too early, but I at least I could get why.
By the way, F1, while Georgia is in town, is just an insane thing to do.
Insane.
Yeah, but carry on.
But we get there so early. We go to a Waffle House, like near the airport.
Yeah.
Get some Waffle House, and then on the way back at Austin, that road was so weird. It like you merge, and then it's like it's a hard turn right only lane all of a sudden. So I deadass is the closest I've ever been to crashing, because I was like, oh fuck, and then I had to like swerve and get back on. But anyways, we get on the plane. We're gonna be landing there at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
And just as a heads up, a little reference, since now my car's in Austin, we changed the other flight, the way back flight, to be now going to Austin because it was going to be in San Antonio. Mm-hmm. And he had something he had to do that same day when we came back that Saturday. So he changed the flight earlier. So we were going to be leaving at 5 a.m. the next day. So we get there at 5 p.m. and we were going to be leaving at 5 a.m. We're going to be in Philly for 12 hours. Important.
A lot going on there.
So, anyways, we're at the Austin airport. We get there. We're fine. We're waiting a bit because, we got there way too early. I bought Phase 10 cards. We played Phase 10 in the airport. But everything goes fine. We get on the plane. We fly off. We land in Philly. One way.
As one does.
So then we land. We start waiting for our Uber, which takes forever because traffic was crazy. It took them forever to actually get to us. Right. But as we're waiting, there was like some sign. I forgot what the sign itself said, but somebody just put a sticker of an asshole on it. Like a human, like a photograph, but like on a sticker of a real human asshole.
Sounds about Philly.
Clean. It was a clean one, at least.
Does not sound about Philly.
But we get it. We have, I think we have.
Cameo, by the way. Sorry.
I think we have like 3 hours till the show. So we're like, hey, let's get a Philly cheesesteak beforehand.
Fuck yeah.
We go to this little spot that we found on Google. It was weird to order. It had, because it was like you walk up to it. It has 2 windows. Mm-hmm. One you order the cheesesteak from. The other one you order sides and a drink from. Separate charges.
Oh.
Weird.
All right. Sure.
Weird. But we get it. We get the cheesesteak. I get a drink, and we get some fries. That cheesesteak was ass. It was terrible.
No.
The bread was hard to tear off. The meat was like super bland. The cheese was barely there. And then the fries were just cut up potatoes, I swear. Like no seasoning, no nothing. Just fluffy cut up potatoes. Terrible. And it's at that point we're sitting at the table. He says to me, you know what? Philadelphia might be ass. And I said, that is very much on the table.
On the table.
So, anyways, we then we walk around a little bit in the city, and then we Uber to to I think it's Wells Fargo Arena or whatever, where the Sixers play, where the Flyers play, right across the street from where the Eagles play. Sold out show, the first ever sold out comedy show in that theater, that stadium, because that comic, like comedy wise, he pretty much started like in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
So they said, it was like a coming home thing. So sold out show, crowd was loving it. So
now he's doing NFL Bud Light commercials. So
I mean, he's doing everything. I think he was EA College Football live stream when that game came out, like him sponsored tournament or whatever. He was in it.
Oh, okay, good shit.
But anyways, sold out show. We go to the show. The show was awesome. Like funniest hour and a half of my life. Like it was amazing. Had a great time. Sipped on a twisted tea, a little twisty,
little twee. Yes, sir.
The show ends and we have like 3 hours till our next flight, or something like that. Yeah. Or maybe it was a little more, because first we go to a bar. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I don't like this vibe. I don't like these type of places.
At this hour in Philadelphia, no sir.
They're not for me. Also, during the fucking comedy show, they let out an Eagles chant.
Ugh.
Fucking, because he just mentioned the Eagles briefly during the set. But So we go to a bar and we're like, this isn't the vibe. Let's just go back to the he couldn't refund the Airbnb because it was like, because at this point, I forgot to mention this part. When we were in the airport, I pretty much brought nothing. Like, I brought what I normally wear because we were going to be there so quick. I just had my phone, wallet, keys, headphones, and my phone charger. That's it. No bag. First time I've ever had no bag in an airport.
No bag?
No bag. No bag. There's no point. We're there for 12 hours. Didn't need it.
I guess. Bring a pair of underwear or something, at least. I don't know.
We weren't even...
What if you shit yourself?
I'll buy a pair of underwear while I'm out there.
All right.
But, yeah, so I raw dogged this whole trip, pretty much.
Crazy.
But yeah, so we're at the bar. We're like, this isn't the vibe. We go back to the Airbnb because he couldn't refund it. Because we were like, we don't actually need this anymore. We're not going to sleep. Because I was like, we'll be too groggy. Like, if we go to sleep for a short amount of time as we'll have, I might be more tired when we go to the airport. But we go there, and I was like, fuck it. I was tired. I was like, you know what? I guess I'll get like an hour's sleep, whatever. So it's 2 hours. I set my alarm. We have 2 hours before we have to go to the airport. I'm laying there for like 30 minutes, and he comes back into my room, and he's like, dude, we got waitlisted on the flight that we have. They overbooked the flight. He's like, I don't know what we're gonna do. We might not make it.
Oh, brother.
Because it was the second flight, because there was two flights, one to DFW and then DFW to Austin. The DFW to Austin is the one that we might not have been able to get on. We were waitlisted. It was we got concerned. So he calls his parents. I forgot another part. When we were at the bar waiting for an Uber to go to the Airbnb, you know, while we're waiting for the Uber, like, one guy came up to us, was like, I'm an Uber driver, you know, I could drive y'all, shows us his Uber stuff. We're like, it's a little more expensive with him. We'll wait. And then another dude walks up to us, and he just goes, you want to come with me? That's it. That's his whole pitch. Not I'm with Uber, not I'm with Lyft, not nothing. He's just, do you want to come with me? And we said, no, thank you. And he just gave us a, like, sketchy looking dude. And then we look over, and he put his hood on and was doing the same thing to other people. It's like, brother, that makes you look worse.
Yeah, that don't look right.
No sales pitch to it. Just, do you want to come with me? No, sir.
I'm good, actually. You know, I respectfully decline your offer.
All right, but back to being freaked out about the wait list. So we go to we go to the Philly airport. We catch our.
What's that? You're at a bar. Have these folks been drinking at all too? The guys that are offering you rides. You said you were at a bar.
No, I don't think so. We were standing outside of the bar.
Okay, all right.
So I don't think so. So we decide to go to Philly, catch our flight from Philly to DFW, and hope we can get on the plane. Or if we can't, since they overbooked, they do have to give us a flight at some point for to come back down. So we're like, all right, we'll just go there, see what happens. We catch the flight. We're now at DFW airport. We go to like the counter, but at the gate for our flight. Where we start to head over. There's multiple terminals at DFW. Our flight landed in the A terminal. Our flight that we needed to get onto was on the A terminal. Sweet. Go to the gate, switched over to C terminal. And then DFW has like a Skylink or whatever where you just get on like a little subway and go to the next terminal. We get on, and then it turns out they're skipping Terminal C, the terminal we need to get to, just on the Skylink. So we hopped on, then found out they're skipping that stop. So we hopped on, had to hop back off, ride it right back to where we were, then walk all the way over to the other terminal. And then we finally get to the gate where our flight is now. Nobody's there. Like, for a while. Like, we're just standing there for a while. Nobody's there. Finally, somebody comes up, and he's like, my friend's like, okay, so we got waitlisted on this flight. How, like, what do we do? Like, how do we get on the flight? And then she's just like, I don't have a wait list for this flight. I don't see your name anywhere. She was copping an attitude with us as well for like no reason. For no reason. I don't want to be rude, but I just say she didn't seem to like her job. It was the vibe, but what's that got to do with me?
Pretty much everybody except pilots and then air traffic control all hate their jobs. If you're talking about airport employees,
Yeah.
most of them don't like it very much. It seems that way. Anyway.
But yeah, she's copping an attitude with us, being like, I don't have you on this flight. I don't see you anywhere. Right behind her, the screen is like rotating between like different things, but one of them is standby list with a list of names. And he goes, I'm right there, number 7. And it was like his initials. It was, I'll say, he has a common name, so I'll say this. It was RIC, like for his first name, and then M for his last name. And he's like, that's me right there. And then he says his name, and she's like, that's not it. That's not what that name is. And I was like, who the fuck is it? Ricardo Montoya? What else is spitting this? What else is spitting this? So she's like, go to customer service. And I was like, okay, we'll do.
Bitch.
We go to customer service. The nice lady there finds us pretty much immediately, prints us out boarding passes. Crisis averted. We have our boarding passes. We get on the plane. We make it back to Austin, and I am exhausted because I didn't sleep at all when we were at the Airbnb. Couldn't sleep after he was like, we might not be able to make it back home. I was like, what the fuck? So I didn't sleep at all. So I have to drive us back like another hour and a half, and I'm doing the fucking while driving, which you shouldn't do.
No, you need to.
You shouldn't do that. But I made it home, made it safely, and then once I dropped him off, I told him I was doing that, and he was like, oh yeah, I kind of felt it a couple times. And I'm like, that's even worse that you could feel it.
He could have offered to drive.
I don't know. With insurance, and since we were both probably pretty tired, it's probably best if I just drove.
Yeah, I guess.
But we finally had made it back. The whole point of the whole story is like, what's the worst thing that could happen? Go one step below that. That's what kept happening to us. Like the plane didn't crash. I forgot another thing that happened. I forgot another thing. On the flight from Philly to DFW, I'm sleeping a little bit on the plane. I'm dozing in and out of sleep. And when I doze back out of sleep, all I hear on the intercom is medical professional to the front, medical professional. And I look up and like someone's just having a medical emergency on this flight. Like two people stood up, come back and helped them, and I was like,
God.
I was like, what the fuck is happening? It was just like, of course this would happen right now on this flight. Like everything has been going wrong or like inconveniencing us in any way. We were like, are they gonna have to emergency land this plane? What are we? That person was totally fine. Like I don't know what the problem was, but they were totally fine, thankfully. Like even when we landed, like they weren't like immediately escorted off, like not like it. So whatever it ended up not being a big deal, a big issue, thankfully. Which is why I felt okay being a little exacerbated about it because I was like, oh fuck, something else.
Yeah, but, as long as they're good.
But yeah. So then all that happened. I think that's everything. I don't think I missed a detail. But yeah.
Hi, Dirk. Well, now that you mention this, I don't think I've ever told this story in its entirety on the podcast before. I had a nightmare trip that involved missing a connecting flight at the DFW. So this was a little over 2 years ago. I was really going through it at the time. So Gabe hit me up. He was like, hey, My Chemical Romance is doing their reunion tour. The first leg of the U.S. tour is in Oklahoma City. And Gabe was, going to OK State at the time, so he was like an hour and a half away. He was in Stillwater. So he was like, hey, if you pay for your plane ticket, I'll pay for your concert ticket, and we'll go see MCR. So I was like, okay, fuck yeah, right? So I get ready to leave that night to head to, I think it was to Charlotte, and then from Charlotte to DFW to OKC or some shit like that. Or maybe it was from Charlotte to OKC, and then my flight back was like Charlotte, DFW, Orlando. I don't remember. But I know I went to Charlotte my first flight. So I was supposed to go to Charlotte. I left work it was a Thursday night. I was supposed to go to Charlotte that night. Because of weather, that flight got canceled. I had to go to Charlotte the next day. Then my flights both got delayed. The next day. So I was supposed to land in Oklahoma City Thursday night. I didn't land until like 1 p.m. Friday. Damn. So already I've lost like 12 hours of time I was going to be spending with Gabe. I've lost quite a bit of it already. And then now when I get there, we ended up having a good time. I was with his roommates for a few days. We went out to get some food a few times. I had Cane's in Oklahoma. I had Whataburger at the DFW. So, I got all the essentials taken care of. And then, of course, we actually went to the show. Show was fantastic. The day comes for me to go home. And Gabe and his roommates were going to make a Costco trip anyways. So there was a Costco near the airport. So they were driving me to the airport. And while we're in Gabe's friend's car, we're on the highway, and tire pressure light comes on while he's driving.
Just as a little flavor to the story, my tire pressure light was on the entire ride to Austin and back.
Awesome!
Just as a little. And as I was driving, I was like, "Should I tell you my tire pressure light was on?" And he was like, "Oh, I wish you didn't tell me that," because he was freaking out.
Oh no!
But back to your story.
Yeah. So we're driving. We're driving to. We're driving to the airport, and his back right tire pops while we're right next to a semi truck on the highway.
Oh.
Now, he did not lose control of the vehicle, so he pulled over. So that was nice. And there just so happened to be a state trooper right behind us. We didn't even have to call. The guy pulled over immediately.
Convenient.
Helped him put the spare on. Was blocking the road until we got back on the road, and then he was driving 40 miles an hour to the gas station, just because he was on spare. But then once we got to the gas station, I ordered an Uber, and she got there so quickly I didn't even have time to do real goodbyes. So I got in the car, and then Gabe texted. He was like, "Yo, what the fuck? Where'd you go?" And I'm so fucking sorry, dog. I should have just told her hey, can you give me a minute or whatever. But we were at a gas station. I grabbed some food, and then right as I finished paying for my food, she had pulled up. So very nice lady though. I was talking to her the whole way there. She's very sweet. I love good conversations with Uber drivers. It's one of my simple pleasures.
Mine were dead silent when we were in Philly.
See, I don't mind those either, as long as I don't talk, they don't talk, whatever. It's a little awkward, but I do prefer conversation.
I'm always what's going on in there?
Yeah, my favorite Uber trips are definitely. I'll never get mad at them for not talking.
No.
My favorite trips are certainly the ones where they're really talking. They got a lot to say, and they engage with you. They want to know about you too, and it's always good, even if it's just small talk the entire time.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. But I usually learn about them and their personal life at least a little bit, and that's.
It took forever for both times I wanted to be like, so where you from? Because they were clearly not from here. They had pretty thick accents. Drove like crazy though. They needed me out the car to pick up somebody else. Here, I'm gonna let Derek out real quick. He's whining.
No, you're good. You're good. Hi, Derek. Oof, god damn, that ass fat. Hi, Bowie. I love you, buddy. My little man, he's sitting in his little tub over there. Look at that sexy coming to sit back down. All right. So what had happened was, got to the airport. Airport security at the OKC airport were fucking mean. Take their job way too fucking seriously sometimes. But anywho, I get on the flight. My flight from OKC to DFW got delayed. Delayed so much to the point where I landed by the time my other flight took off. My connecting flight took off. So I had to stand in line once I landed in the DFW for, I think, 2 hours to get a new flight. And then I flew from DF. I had to stay overnight that night because it was until the next morning. So my dad got me. He travels a lot for work, so he has Hilton reward points. There was a Hilton near the DFW. He was like, "Yeah, I just got you, a hotel stay here." So very nice of him to do. I ended up staying pretty nice hotel. So it was a nice night. Whatever, it was fun. And then the next morning, fly. I think my flight gets delayed again because this was that one weekend a couple years ago where there was unprecedented thunderstorms in the DFW area. So that's why my flights had gotten delayed the previous instance. So my entire trip got moved 12 hours. I didn't get there until 12 hours after I was supposed to. I didn't leave until 12 hours after I was supposed to. So I was gonna be back home Sunday night and going to work on Monday. I didn't get home until 4 p.m. on Monday. I missed work. I texted I texted our head of HR. It was a small business, so it was like 50 employees. So like I can just text the head of HR, like let her know, yo, I've had too many flight delays. I'm not gonna be back in town at time. I can't work. I thought I was gonna be back at like 3 a.m. Monday morning. I missed, so I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to work. I'm gonna get back in town like only a couple hours before I have to clock in, and I ended up not getting in town until right after I would have clocked out. So. And so, I got to work on Tuesday, and some coworkers were like, "So, how was your extended weekend?" I'm like, "Man, fuck you!" Like, I was having travel issues half the damn weekend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was like, I didn't even get to enjoy that extra day. I was flying I was having to suffer through, sitting at the airport for hours waiting for my flights. Like,
me and my friend were like, if anyone asks us about this trip, because we were done. Like literally, my friend had said at one point, "This is the worst day of my life," is what he said at one point because of how hectic it was. He said the comedy show is the only thing stopping him from saying it is, because the comedy show was great.
Right.
But he was done.
Right.
Oh fuck! I had something else to say, but I don't. Oh, I do remember for the Uber, he dropped us off like when we were going to the Airbnb after the show. He dropped us off like 2 blocks. Not where we were supposed to be at, like 2 blocks away from where we were supposed to be at. So my friend hops out the car and just like, I think he goes behind somebody's house and just like pisses. Not someone, I'm not saying it's like someone's house, but like it might have been somebody's house, or like I don't know what it was. It might have been somebody's. I'm not sure what that building was.
So why did he drop you off so far away from the B&B?
No idea. But my friend was like, "Dude, my butt is about to fucking explode. I gotta go right now."
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, we both had nightmare trips with a lot of delays in which we went out of town to go to a basketball arena to watch something other than basketball.
Yeah,
so
but
that's pretty cool.
that's what I was gonna say. My whole trip was for 12 hours to be in Philly. All of this was to be 12 hours in Philly for Star Philly. But what it really was for, it was for an hour and a half of a comedy show and a shitty Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah.
We were, for the whole trip, the 12 hours we were there, we were at an airport or an airplane for longer than those 12 hours, like the trip itself. Once you got to start evaluating a trip once you're like, time spent traveling is greater than time spent there.
Yeah.
You got to start thinking about it at that point. I don't regret it at all. The show was great. It's a funny story. Had a good time with my friend. The whole time I'm laughing. He was getting kind of annoyed at times, but I'm laughing like, "Hey, we got a story. Just wait, we'll be fine. We got a story. It's funny. It's fine." But damn.
Yeah, that's hectic shit.
Yeah,
that's a lot. All right, are we getting into? Are we moving on?
Yeah, I mean, I'm good. You said you had a little something you wanted to.
I got something to say. I saw a lot of things that really bothered me after the events of what happened on Sunday. So some very unintelligent arguments being made by some folks. I just need to get it out the way. It is morally acceptable to celebrate Deshaun Watson's injury. By the way.
Yeah.
I just I need to get that. It is insane to me that people are suggesting otherwise. No, you do not actually have to have sympathy for somebody who's raped north of 30 people.
Also, he didn't even die. Like, it's not like he died.
It's not like he fucking died. These people wouldn't last a day. Hey,
you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Honest to goodness, I even had the thought, if Deshaun Watson died, I would mention it on the podcast, and I wouldn't say anything else about it. I would say, "Hey, Deshaun Watson passed away." I wouldn't necessarily be pissing on his grave verbally, but I sure as shit wouldn't say nothing else positive about him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even remark that he played well the first couple of years. No, fuck that shit. Okay, and fuck anybody who tells you that you're no better than Deshaun because you've made mistakes in your life.
I know people are gonna maybe not believe me, but before he was even traded, before some of the rumors came out, I thought he was being a little overrated as a quarterback. I know it's easy for me to say that right now.
I get it, but I mean, I don't think I ever went that far.
I never bought into top 5. Like, people were throwing out top 5.
I think in that there was one year. I'm not even gonna finish that sentence. Who cares? Who gives a fuck? He stinks now, and he's a terrible, even worse person than
his career might be over.
But I hope it is. But my almost exact words when he got traded, once all the settlements were done and he was like clear to play football again after the suspension, I was like, I'm not wishing death upon this man, but I do hope he hurts himself in such a manner that he never. I think I even said never walks again, so that way he's not a threat to anybody. But at the very least, never gets to play football again. This might be the dagger, as I told you the other day. This might be the dagger, and I fucking hope it is.
Terrible play. He's gotten his money. There's no way he has joy for the game with what he hears when he's on the field.
Getting booed off the field, he deserved worse than that, honestly. That's now. Granted, Browns fans are innocent in this either. A lot of them fans were happy until he started playing bad.
We saw some crazy stuff.
They were happy until he started playing bad.
I remember the picture of like some dad and his son. I forgot what was on the shirt, but it was
something like happy endings not illegal or whatever. And they had,
something crazy.
There was some insane shit some people were doing with just awful deplorable shit. Now it's one thing I can understand from a fan perspective. You've seen your team's been so horrible for so long overall that if you got Houston Deshaun Watson, if a fan had told me look, I hate that he's my quarterback, but at the end of the day, if he brings me a Super Bowl, I'm going to enjoy that Super Bowl win. I could understand obviously not wanting to support the team, but at the end of the day, if he does. Yeah. If he gave them elite quarterback play and it actually brought them a championship, I could understand wanting to celebrate that championship if it had ever happened.
Do you just die on the fact that he was never found guilty and innocent until proven guilty? I don't know what you do.
I don't think, not necessarily, because that's not how the court of public opinion works at the end of the day.
It's not. We know it's not.
Quite frankly, nor should it be. If we're being honest, unless if it's pretty obvious that somebody did something, and the only thing
in Deshaun's case, I think yes.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
No, not always. There's nuance there, but I mean, like for Bill Cosby, for instance, the only reason he was never prosecuted was because they mishandled the evidence. There was evidence. He did it. There's no subjectivity to tell you that Bill Cosby didn't do that shit. He did. So it's also if something bad happened to Bill Cosby, it would be okay to be he deserved it. In the same sense, because he did that shit. Even if the law couldn't prove it for one reason or another, if he did that shit, it doesn't matter what the law says. He did that shit, therefore you're allowed to personally celebrate when bad shit happens to him. Obviously, if there's we just don't know, sure. But I'm sorry, innocent people don't settle 24 cases. They don't. Innocent people don't pay out millions of dollars. Because...
And people want to talk about it being faked for them to get money. That many people coordinating something. How many times have you tried to coordinate something with your friends that you personally know?
Just with a couple of them, 24. Are you fucking stupid?
And even after that, we've heard more. And something not too long ago came out.
And how many people haven't come forward? There's plenty of women that didn't want to file in the first place because they didn't want any chance of it being known that it happened to them.
And that many people, it just takes one to leak that it's been faked.
Right.
It takes one. That could get a check from TMZ and rat the whole thing out.
And quite honestly, even something I still see too. I can't believe I'm still seeing this shit in the year 2024. When people will still say, I saw somebody. The initial tweet was if you're celebrating this injury, you're a bitch or whatever. So you're a bad person. That's sick. That's evil. In one of the replies to that tweet, he said, "Well, half of them women were lying anyways. Let's be real. First of all, no, you don't fucking know that. Second of all, even if 23 of them were lying, if only one of them was telling the truth, what the fuck is an acceptable number of sexual assaults for somebody to have on their one is too many."
Apparently, to this guy, you get 12. You get 12, apparently.
Yeah, apparently, if half of them are lying, 12 is okay. Now, 13, I would have had an issue with. But if he only has 12, you're not allowed to celebrate his injury. Go fuck yourself. And for Jameis Winston, of all people, to lecture me about morality, this is fucking... That's like R. Kelly defending P. Diddy in court. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Jameis Winston does not get to tell anybody how they should be reacting to this situation. No sexual predator gets to tell you how you're supposed to feel about another sexual predator. That's fucking... I don't know how much Jameis Winston is paying his PR team. It's not enough. I don't know how everybody has somehow forgotten that Florida State
because I still don't know what it is.
Had to pay damn near $1 million to keep a woman quiet after he raped her. Not to mention trying to finger his Uber driver just a couple of years later. And again, that happened while he was in the NFL. And people have still forgotten that this happened. How did we get here? How did we get here where Jameis Winston is allowed to tell people that they're in the wrong for celebrating Deshaun Watson's injury, and people will eat that shit up and say, "Oh, this world doesn't deserve Jameis. Oh, Jameis is too pure of a soul." No, Jameis Winston is a sexual predator. He does not get to tell me how I should be reacting to the injury of another sexual predator. Jameis Winston shouldn't be playing football either. So, and for the shit that Jameis and Myles Garrett were saying, there is an ocean of things you can say between, nah, fuck him, I don't care that he's my quarterback, he's a rapist, and he's putting his life on the line. He has to now face yet another obstacle. The whole world is against him. He's a fucking football player. He's not going to war. Oh. Okay, you don't get to fucking sanitize your criminal history because even if you were good at football, you don't get to do that shit. I'm sorry, like the way he's playing a fucking children's game for a living and he's making $230 million to do it. And you're lecturing me because he's going to war. He's putting his life and body on the line for this team every fucking day. He's playing football. He's playing football. That's all it is. At the end of the day, that's all the fuck it is. And he's not even good at it. It's infuriating. I'm not saying you need to throw your teammate under the bus. I'm not saying you should be celebrating his injury too if you're on the Browns. I understand that's not how you maintain.
It's so easy to just be like, "Hey, hope he gets healthy, hope he recovers."
Hope he gets healthy. I didn't like the booze. That's it. It's two sentences. All you had to say to make you look like a good teammate in that situation, and not ruin the locker room at all. All you had to say was, "Hope he recovers quickly. I didn't like the way the fans treated it, that's it." There are so many things that Jameis Winston and Myles Garrett could have said after the game between, outright shitting on him and praising him. Blows my mind that this is controversial whatsoever among NFL fans. I don't get it. I don't know what's wrong with these people. I don't know where people get off on the idea that because you've done bad things in your life, you're not allowed to criticize Deshaun Watson. I've never raped anybody. Let me just start. I've never done anything close to that. I'm sorry. Almost stealing a York peppermint patty from a Chinese buffet when I was 8 years old does not make me as bad as Deshaun Watson. It doesn't. I can't believe that even needs to be said. That does not make me as bad as Deshaun Watson. Stealing a piece of a Darth Vader figurine because I had the same figurine and I lost my part of the helmet does not make me as bad as Deshaun Watson. It doesn't. That's fucking ridiculous. So, all right, I got the more heated of my two rants out of the way. I think I've pretty much said on.
Deshaun's gone. Nick Chubb is back.
No, I had some wine. I had some wine Sunday night. I was celebrating. I poured up a little bit. Yeah. Hitler dead.
I saw the post, like Nick Chubb posted a picture of Batman before his first start, and then a villain gets taken out in Cleveland. Coincidence? I think not.
Welcome back, Nick Chubb. We missed you. Fuck you, Jameis Winston. Fuck you, Myles Garrett. And fuck anybody who thinks you're just as bad as Deshaun or you're sick for cheering for this injury. No, he deserves much worse than an Achilles tear. I'll take my wins where I can get them. Lord knows the Titans aren't giving me very many. Speaking of, that's where my next rant was going to come in. Now, on this one, I am going to try to be nice because I didn't have to try to be nice on that last one. Because God, it's infuriating. But this one I understand a little more. Not that I think it's right, but I'm gonna try to empathize. I'm gonna try to be nice. So, I'm hearing a lot of more opinions. Hearing opinions on the Tennessee Titans. I'm hearing opinions on Brian Callahan. I haven't said a ton criticizing Brian Callahan, and admittedly, like he shouldn't be absolved. Like there's a lot you can levy at him, but I need to emphasize here.
Okay,
we are 6 games into his coaching career. He has coached 6 games. 6. You can barely count on 2 hands how many games this man has coached in the NFL. If
you're a freak, you could do it on one.
I have one more point actually about Deshaun Watson. It's a very important one that I
Not that
totally forgot to mention. I had to, yeah, that's what reminded me. You said freak. Or no, it's because the analogy that I used, the counting, because I had a thought. So to the people who there's still a fairly large contingent of people who will tell you Deshaun Watson, like they'll do the whole like never proven guilty in court, never whatever the case may be. I think if you're still defending Deshaun Watson in the year 2024, like, okay, put yourself in the shoes of the women in your life. Think if this happened to your mother, your sister, your girlfriend, your wife, a good friend of yours, whoever the case may be, even just somebody you know.
Just think it happened to you.
You, but I mean, even just if you're a man. If you're a man, because it is primarily, I haven't seen a single woman say this about Deshaun Watson. It's only men, and understandably so, because why would any woman ever go to bat for Deshaun Watson? But if this, and I guarantee you, it has happened to a woman you care about. And if you don't think it has, it's only because she's smart enough not to tell you.
Because she's probably seeing how you're handling this Deshaun thing.
Like, you're not going to take it seriously.
What were you wearing?
Precisely. Which, again, if you don't think this has happened to a woman that you know, if you don't think sexual violence has ever happened to a woman you care about, again, it's because whoever it has happened to is smart enough to know you're not to be trusted with that information because you're going to make them feel bad about it. I can count on at least two hands how many women have been either are or have been important to me at some point in my life who I know for sure have experienced some form of sexual violence. They're everywhere. Quite, that's just how it is. If you think this is a rare thing, if you think this just doesn't happen very often, no, it happens all the fucking time.
I don't know if I should tell this story. I think technically, I was like sexually assaulted when I was.
You can tell that if you want. That's up to you.
I'll tell it because there's no trauma there. Because there's no power dynamic. This was a peer.
Right.
And I'll be honest, looking back, I have a hard time not smiling because to me, like I said, there's no trauma. This is just to illustrate that it can happen anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
But to me, I still see humor in it because it's just the dumbest way it ever happened.
Yeah.
So me and a friend of mine, this is when I lived in Bahrain, friend of mine across the street. So we are either like 9 or 10, and we were gonna do the soda and mementos thing.
Okay.
But I think we were like trying to keep it a secret from his dad. So I whisper over to him. I'm like, "Yo, when are we gonna do the thing?" And he's like, "Oh, well, let's go upstairs." And I was like, "That's a weird place to do it. Are we doing it in like a bathtub or something?" And as we go upstairs, and as we're walking to his door, he starts like trying to kiss me on my neck. Like he's like trying to, and I'm like, what? I didn't know what was going on. But we opened the door, and he literally like pushes me onto his bed, and then he whips out his dick, and he tries to like helicopter it around, and he says something along the lines of like, "Oh, I know it's small, but it's fine." He definitely said the phrase, "I know it's small, but." I think the second part was like, "It's fine," and I couldn't register what was going on. I was like, no, I'm talking about the sodas and mementos, and he just puts it back up, and he's like, oh, we got to do that wherever. And I was like, what? And it didn't register it. I didn't register it, like, really at all. But then I remember because him and another friend of ours, when we were at his house one day, they were, like, looking up boobs on Google Images, and I just wanted to play Call of Duty Zombies. And I was like, guys, can we just fucking play? And they started calling me gay. And then years later, I'm driving my car. This is how much further it is. I'm anywhere from 16 to 18 now, and I just clicked. I was like, I'm not gay. He's gay.
Wait a second.
I was like, he's gay. And then it still didn't click to me that it was assault. I just thought it was a weird thing.
Yeah.
And then I told my sister the story one day, and she was like, Brayden, you got like assaulted. And I was like, oh, I guess I did.
Yeah.
And like my severity, like there's no power dynamic. There's nothing. The whole point was just that like it could be anybody that could do it to you, and in any way, like you could. It's just you never know. Like you just never fucking know. That's all that story is to illustrate. Wild.
I've never been sexually assaulted. I have been sexually harassed by peers before. Like I've had
sure.
I've had a woman tell me once. She was like, I did not know her at all, but I was talking to some friends of mine that I guess were also friends of hers. So I just happened to be near her, and she's sitting behind me, and I'm standing up, and she's just like, "You have a really plump ass," and it's like, okay, why would you say that to somebody you don't know? Like, I didn't feel personally offended by it. I didn't feel hurt by it. I didn't feel like I had like I was like, I didn't feel like a victim as a result. But it's just like you don't really say that to
Oh,
to people you don't
yeah.
know. That's
When
just
I worked at Olive Garden, there was this guy who used to be in the dishwasher, who like apparently I don't remember what he said exactly about me, but was like, um, he said like, oh, he's not a virgin. You could tell by the way he plates food, which makes no sense, and at the time was wrong.
oh
And
my
then that
goodness.
same guy asked a friend of mine that worked there for a dick pic. He was like, I just want to see how big it is, or something like that.
God have mercy.
But it can be from anyone, anywhere, anytime. You never know.
Hmm. Yeah. Now, granted, I mean, this maybe I should have felt differently about this when it happened, but I was also into this girl, so it's a little like there's I understand the argument of like there's a line when it's somebody you're interested in versus not, but like it doesn't make it any better.
Well,
But
being interested isn't completely ready to do
is it
anything and anything at any
permission
moment.
for? No, she just like I got a text message from this girl from a friend of mine, and she was like, "Hey," she was just like, "I just got this like unsolicited dick pic from this guy." I'm like, "Well, damn, that's tragic." She was like, "Yeah, maybe one from you would make it better." And I was like, "Whoa, whoa, time out." Well,
What a crazy way to ask for one.
mind you,
What a crazy way to ask for one.
mind you, I obliged, but I wanted something back, and I did get something back, and like it started being a thing we would do every once in a while, and like I remember I was visiting San Antonio, and I just gotten off the flight. I was in Gabe's car. We were getting food, and I see new snap, and as I click to open the snap, my phone dies, and I'm like, no! And I had to wait like 2 hours to open it. It was nice, but yeah, just in general, like going back to the original point, like if you're still like to throw the argument about they were just lying, you know how these females are, they just want money. Any man that uses the word females
Oh,
like that
dude,
in any kind of I know anything you have to say is going to be rooted in misogyny.
outside of a science class, I've never heard it
I
used
don't.
in any decent context.
It's like I don't need to hear not a word else. If you could easily use the word women and you choose to use the word females instead, I don't have to hear anything else you have to say to know that you're sexist. You've already told me that you are. Like, it just like I know, and anything you say is going to be rooted in that. If your idea is that all these women just want money, which the vast majority of rape cases are not false. A lot of them are inconclusive, but that doesn't mean she lied. You know what I mean? And there's more confirmed true than confirmed false instances of it. So it's a ridiculous notion to say that these females be lying, they just want money, they all just want all 30 of them. Okay, buddy,
And at some point, it's like,
whatever.
okay, we have to split this money. Is 20 not enough to split between?
Right?
That
What
much
do you need
more?
for? How many like you don't think there would have been maybe just a little less women if they all wanted money and imagine even the text message you'd have to get from Tony Busby for him to be like, "Hey, we're putting together a team of women to claim they've been sexually." You know how many women would have said no to that because they would have thought it was a scam and they
Yeah,
would
oh,
have said
yeah.
something. I
It's
mean, if you apply any amount of thinking to this whatsoever, it's pretty obvious they're not lying about. But people don't want to do that. They don't want to believe that their heroes could be bad people. People don't want to believe that a lot of men, unfortunately, just are this shitty. Um, and
yeah. Celebrity worship has always just been weird. It dehumanizes them. It puts them on a weird pedestal they don't belong on. It's just weird.
I hope most of these men don't have daughters. I know some of them do, and that's a depressing thought. I just hope most of these men don't have daughters.
Yeah.
But I think
I
I'm
hope
done
they don't
fully
have
done.
kids, because then the son is just going to
Kids in
transfer.
general, but especially daughters. I don't think they'll have sons either, because then their sons might end up like
Yeah, because then it's like, if they have daughters, that individual has to experience it. If they have sons, it just continues a generation of it.
if yeah. So I'm done with the Deshaun Watson stuff. We spent enough time on it. Back to the Brian Callahan thing.
Crazy seg, like crazy that we double
Yeah,
we said, man,
like
we
double
spinning
back
back.
because I
We
had to.
spinning back
I
on him.
did the whole. You can barely count on two hands. That made me remember. Oh yeah, I can count on two hands the number of women I know that have been sexually assaulted in some capacity.
And you know what? You can't count on 2 hands or your 2 feet. The number of women accusing Deshaun Watson of these.
It's more than 2 hands and 2 feet worth. You're correct. It's more than 20. It's close. It's more than 30 even. All
this
told,
point.
in terms of not in terms of official claims, but at least in terms of accusations, it's north of 30. So, it's bad. It's bad. It's not.
If
good.
you hear if you hear one accusation come out and you're like, who knows, whatever. I don't know. You
We'll
hear
see.
2,
We'll
3,
see. We'll see.
4.
If I see one, I'm like, all right.
If I hear one, my thought
we have
process
it.
is usually like, hey, innocent until proven guilty. Hear them out, listen to them, let things play out. Let's see.
Yeah.
You hit. I don't know what number it is, but I know it's before 30. Where I'm like, all right.
Anytime I see 2, I'm like, okay, yeah. Chances are they did that shit. To be quite like, it's very rare that you get more than one woman coming. False rape accusations. It is almost always just one. If you see 2, it is damn near for sure they did that shit. Any more than one, you're like, okay, yeah, that's probably the case. But especially when every day there's another one coming out. Like, it's the same thing happened with Bill Cosby. You kept seeing more and more and more and more people come out. Deshaun Watson, every day there was like 2 or 3 more new women coming out that Tony Busby was representing. Like, at some, like, I even remember the exact moment people were like, I think once we hit like 10, folks started doing a heel turn of like, yeah, that's a bit too many.
Yeah, this guy did it.
And then we hit 24, and it
Because
was like,
at first the joke was that because this is when I think he I can't remember the
just requested
timeline.
the trade.
Yeah, he just requested it. So it was like, oh, the
so-
Texans
Oh,
got
the
some
Texans
people
are
to do
putting this
something.
information out there so
And
that
then
he'll come back.
the number got too high, and people went,
Then the number
you know what?
got
I think
way
Deshaun
too
just did
high.
this shit.
Yeah, the circumstances initially, like after right when the case is starting getting made, it's like, okay, yeah, did the Texans organization do this to, totally? But then the thought happened of like, why would they plummet his trade value by doing that though? You know what I mean? Why would they? If he doesn't want to be back, why would they deliberately take his trade value?
And something so bad
Yeah.
that like your organization, if
Not
he
just
plays,
not that he punched somebody, no, that he sexually assaulted 24 people.
I mean, we see
No,
Kareem Hunt's career got more fucked over than Deshaun's did.
And for being quite honest, not that he reacted appropriately, but like, there's a lot worse things guys have done after people have yelled racial slurs at their friends. I'm just like,
Yeah. Kareem Hunt's on my fantasy team. That's my fucking king right there.
I don't know. I was like, it's because it was on video. People treat it way differently when it's on video. It doesn't matter.
And
You
it
can
was
describe
hey,
in full
let's keep it a
detail.
buck. He hit a white woman.
Yeah. There are a few things when it comes to legal issues or court of public opinion that are more powerful than a white woman's tears. So
I don't know if there is anything more powerful.
fair enough. So anyways, back to
We gotta
the
protect
Brian Callahan
this
thing.
snow queen right here. We gotta protect her.
I've already seen people say they are out on Brian Callahan.
Okay.
He has coached 6 games, y'all.
The coach
He
gets
is-
a whole year of
Not only that, I think there is almost a zero. Like, something would have to go seriously wrong for him to get fired, because the owner herself is in full favor of riding it out with Will Levis this entire season just to see if he's going to develop or not. You don't fire a head coach after you tell him, "Hey, play this quarterback." all
yeah.
year.
You
That's
the
not
coach
gonna
starts
happen.
to get fired when the quarterback he
This is not the
he
quarterback
picks, signs, whatever connects with.
Not to mention, if you look at this offense on a play-by-play basis, well, first of all, his game scripts have been really good. The Titans have scored early in every single game. His initial script to start a football game offensively has been good. The offense has moved the ball well early in games. In fact, the Titans have a positive point differential in every quarter except the fourth. Now, we're in the negative 30s in the fourth quarter. That's why we have 5 losses. But it's not like the team is just playing like shit all game long. The Titans have had a halftime lead in 5 out of 6 weeks. That's not bad. Clearly, the problems with this team are failures to adjust. Excuse me, my goodness. The problems with this team are the biggest problem is a failure to adjust in the second half. But I mean, there's a lot of things you can throw around here. Turnovers are a big problem. Turnover differential, I'll say in particular, because the defense does not generate very many.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of what I've heard in regards to the people who are out on Brian Callahan, a lot of them say, fire Brian Callahan and promote Denard Wilson before we lose him. You have got to be a different type of stupid if you think Denard Wilson's getting a head coaching job this offseason. You have to be.
I don't think people realize, first of all, how many candidates are out there.
Well, not only that, but you have to, if you're going to get hired after only 1 year of coordinator experience ever in your career, 1 year of coordinator experience to get a head coaching job, you have to be fucking generational. Denard Wilson's defense is not generating turnovers. It is not generating pressure. Those are the two most important aspects of a defense. They're not allowing yards, but they're not great in points. They're pretty league average in terms of points allowed, and they're not getting to the quarterback, and they're not taking the ball away. What indication do you have? What do you know that we don't, that Denard Wilson is about to get a head coaching job? He's not. He's not. He's a first-year coordinator, and his defense isn't doing the two most important things a defense has to do. Now, a lot of that's personnel-related. I don't think they have the horses for a good pass rush. I said that in the offseason. The pass rush is easily the biggest weakness of this defense. They have one good edge rusher, and even then, he doesn't win one-on-ones. Harold Landry has a 4% pressure rate. Harold Landry is good because he's easy to scheme with. He has 4 sacks on the year. That's why he has 4 sacks on the year. If you want to run a creative stunt, if you want to get some nice blitz going to get Landry unblocked, Landry is a great player for that sort of thing. He's a coach's dream in terms of just having a chess piece on the defensive line somewhere that you can do cool shit with to get to the quarterback in a creative way. He's not beating his man one-on-one. That's never been his game. It's never going to be his game. Arden Key does not win one-on-ones. Jeffrey Simmons this year hasn't even really been winning his matchups. And T'Vondre Sweat is pushing the pocket to a degree. He's not a great pass rusher, though, which is not what he was drafted to be. He's a nose tackle. He's not going to be an elite pass rusher. But either way, no matter how you slice it, the team does not have the horses defensively for it. But again, you're not losing Denard Wilson this year. Under no circumstances is Denard Wilson getting a head coaching job this offseason. And I like Denard Wilson. I'm not blaming Denard Wilson for the lack of pass rush. Now, lack of turnovers, yeah, you'd expect a little more, from a guy who's supposed to be this aggressive defensive guy. Like, you want a little more turnover creation there. But again, with the Brian Callahan thing, the offensive line has gotten better. It's not great, but that's because the weakest link is still the weakest link. It's right tackle. Nicholas Petit-Frere is allowing the second highest pressure percentage in the league. It doesn't matter how well J.C. Latham is playing. It doesn't matter how well Peter Skoronski's playing. It doesn't matter how well Luke Cushenberry's playing. Even Dylan Radins is playing decently well at right guard. You've got 4, at the very least, startable guys on the offensive line. It's serviceable. If your weakest link is as bad as Nicholas Petit-Frere is, it doesn't matter how well Latham is blocking his guy up on the left side. If Nicholas Petit-Frere is getting beaten half a second after the ball is snapped, your quarterback doesn't have time to throw. Doesn't matter how well the guys on the left side are doing their job. It takes all 5. And unfortunately, quarterback position ain't very good either. Yep. So this team as a whole is really an average quarterback, an average right tackle, and then one more playable edge rusher away from being 3-3, if not 4-2 at this point in the season. They simply don't have the horses. Bless you.
Thank you.
Now, that's not to say Brian Callahan's been great. Like I said, this team has a lot of problems, and he hasn't always been. He's not great. He has a lot of growing to do as a head coach. But another thing, people like to forget, coaches have to develop too. Not every coach can be Sean McVay in year one. These are the people who would have fired Zach Taylor, which is where Callahan comes from. These are the people who would have fired Dan Campbell in year one. These are the people who would have fired John Gruden in Oakland in year one when they went 4-12. He took them to a Super Bowl later on. So, you got to give a guy time. Mm-hmm. You got to give it time, especially when the rookie class is playing well. The receivers are getting open. If you look at the All-22, the run game hasn't been bad either. Tony Pollard is out rushing the entire Dallas Cowboys running back room right now.
Not hard. That's not a Cowboys.
It's not. Well, he was on the Cowboys. That's why. That's what makes that stat fun. But Cowboys running back room has 396 yards. Tony Pollard has 400 yards in the season. Pollard is on pace for over 1,000 yards. He's having a very good year. Brian Callahan can't go out there and complete the passes. Will Levis and Mason Rudolph have to do that. When they're not on time, or when they're holding on to the ball too long. J.C. Latham against the Bills had a 71.4 or 71.6 pass blocking grade. He allowed 2 sacks and 4 pressures. You know why that is? It's because Mason Rudolph wouldn't throw the damn ball. It's a very good defensive line over there in Buffalo. Latham was doing his job for the most part, and then Mason wouldn't let go of the ball, and Mason got hit because Mason didn't want to throw it. There's only so much that the other pieces around this team can do to compensate for the fact that we are getting bottom 3 right tackle play and bottom 3 quarterback play every single week. It just is what it is. That's not Brian Callahan's fault. There are a lot of things you can criticize about Brian Callahan. The situational play calling, the decision making in games has not been incredible. There are certainly areas he has to grow. I'm not arguing against that. But to say you're out on him, to say that we should fire him and promote Denard Wilson 6 games into the season, that's just insane. That's insane. Rant out of the way. The team's not great. This rookie class fucks, though, and it's for that reason that I say he doesn't want to leave, and it's probably because he loves Nashville. He has very much embraced Nashville culture since he's been here. We should trade DeAndre Hopkins at the deadline, though. If you have a chance of getting, it would probably be a conditional 4th-round pick that would turn into a 3rd if you meet certain thresholds, whether it be receiving yards or playoff success, is my guess of what the pick would be. With the way Rand Carthon has drafted since he's been here, we need assets more than anything else. We only have like 5 picks in this year's draft. No, we don't have a 3rd, and I think we're missing either a 6th or a 7th because I think we traded that for Leroy. No, the Leroy Watson pick was last year. I don't know. I think we're missing one more, though. It's probably L'Jarius Sneed related. But yeah, we don't have a 3rd-round pick, and I think we're missing one of our day 3 picks. So we need assets. The way to get assets is by trading players in contract years who deserve to have a chance to win Super Bowls. And that's certainly DeAndre Hopkins. So not a whole lot to say this week. Same old, same old. Mason Rudolph, by the way, is not good enough to win this team more games. That was a thing a lot of people were saying is, well, if we played Mason Rudolph for X, Y, and Z, we would have this record. No, Mason Rudolph stinks too.
Shocking.
He's better at being on time than Levis was. Levis is definitely better at a lot of things than Rudolph is. And quite frankly, there's no reason not to play Levis at this point. He's younger. He's more talented. Let's ride it out with Levis. Let's see what we can get from him. And the coaching staff agrees, and so does the ownership. They all want to ride it out with Levis. He's not getting benched. It's not going to happen. And unfortunately, the way Paul Kuharsky reported it was it just said Mason Rudolph will get the start. So then that's what JPA Football posted. So you had a lot of people thinking Levis got benched. He didn't. He has a grade 2 AC joint sprain. He was not healthy enough to play. He did not play. When he is healthy enough, he will be back in the lineup. He did not get benched. But anywho, rant's over. We can 45 or so minutes into the podcast, we can talk about the football stuff. An hour? All right, we can talk about the meat and potato football stuff now.
I think this is definitely the longest until we've gotten to this segment.
Longest opening. Well, we both had stories to tell. I had to talk about Deshaun.
And then that added me to include another story. Like, a lot.
Hey, but like we said Banger was coming up. We both figured this would be a good episode.
I texted you. I think I texted you like all-timer loading or something.
All-timer loading. I think so far this has been an all-timer. I'm very happy with it.
Dude, if we ended it right now, it'd be top 10.
Mm-hmm. I think so. We ain't even got to the meat and potatoes yet.
Football.
Whoa! In case you've forgotten what this podcast is truly about.
Let's just jump right into it. Best wins of the week. I'll go first here.
Yes, sir.
I have the Lions winning over the Minnesota Vikings, a divisional win. They knock off the Vikings for the first time all year. Vikings finally lose a game. It's I think it was 31-29.
31-29, yes, sir.
I mean, Jared Goff. What's going on? MVP? I don't know. We'll see.
I'm gonna say number 2 behind Lamar.
To me, the ones in the conversation, Lamar, obviously. I think Allen's still in the conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
I think after I know I would still have Sam Darnold somewhere in there and Goff. Just because of the record,
Yeah.
If they're the 1 seed. But yeah, I mean, and then you see how important it is to have a running game, unlike
Mm-hmm.
some teams out there. You have two elite running backs. One goes down for a little bit, comes back eventually, but a little banged up in David Montgomery. So Jahmyr Gibbs just takes over.
Mm-hmm.
That team, I mean, offensively, they're going to be without Jameson Williams for 2 weeks, but they'll be fine. They just have weapons aplenty, a quarterback who can get in the ball.
Potential trap game against Tennessee this weekend?
You said this last week.
No. I had a reason to believe so last week. We were up at half, by the way, so fuck you, buddy.
I knew you were up at half, and I went,
Yeah.
Still not going to matter.
We were up 10-0 at one point, then they scored 34 unanswered points.
Correct.
That's what happens when you're playing a bad football team. Hey, it just is what it is.
But, yeah, I mean, the Lions just plethoras of ways to win. They lose Aiden Hutchinson, that we have talked about already. But you know what helps making up for that? Turning the ball over. Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph both. I think they're 2 and 3 in picks this year behind Xavier McKinney.
He's having a year. McKinney's should be in deep boy conversation.
He's in the conversation. We'll talk about 2 weeks from now. We'll get into it. But yeah, he's in the conversation for sure.
Yes, sir.
When you're turning over the ball that at that level, you should be in the conversation. It's the most valuable thing besides scoring with it. That's the most valuable thing a defensive player can do. Yeah, in the toughest division of football, you get a divisional win. You now are number 1 in the division, which is huge. Tough to do. Toughest division of football. You get a win in it. You're gonna get best win. Your best win, sir. As I throw it over to you as you take a sip.
But by all accounts, should still be a good division. The record, it's just not indicative of their records. Seattle finally gets a win after dropping 3 straight, and it's a big one. They
big differential,
won, 30,
good opponent.
34-14 when it was against a very good team in the Atlanta Falcons. So, they needed this. They needed this desperately, and they got it. And I mean, good for them. They're back in first place in the NFC West, and
It's
not a whole lot much.
It's not looking like that division's gonna get it together.
San Francisco has too many injuries. Same thing with the Rams, and the Rams have other problems even outside of those injuries. It's just they don't have the horses this year.
Yep.
Arizona does not have a pass rush. They've got some other issues too, secondary being one of them. But
Marvin Harrison needs to be. I don't know what's going on there. It's just off. They connect at times and it looks good, but a lot of times they're just kind of off in terms of what he should be getting.
Part of the problem is when he's not in a rhythm. They're not throwing him like passes that would get a receiver into rhythm. They're throwing shit deep. He has like the 7th highest downfield, in terms of yards downfield after 3 seconds into the play. He's 7th in the league in how far downfield he is.
Which is not
if
his skill set. He's not a burner like that.
He's fast, but he's not like a blazer. You know what I mean? He's get him something underneath.
Is he NFL fast?
Screen. Yeah, definitely. He had a 21, whatever. Because people were concerned in week 1, then in week 2 he hit one of the higher speeds by a ball carrier this season, on one of those routes. I don't remember, but he's got good speed. He's not a burner, but he's fun. But he should not be get him something easy. Get him an easy completion. Get him into a rhythm so that he can start catching the tougher shit too. But yeah, you're right. It's a weird thing. He's made some plays again that 4th down catch against the Niners. One of the most important plays that a Cardinals player's made all year. He had a great game in week 2.
Was that the one he had a great game or the one he had a great quarter? Which game was it where he had 4 catches, 100-something yards, 2 touchdowns in a quarter?
Maybe that was week 2. I don't remember.
And then he had nothing else the rest. That's part of the problem. You see it, but it's just not consistent. I'm not blaming just him.
Right. It's all of them. It's probably you can some of it's probably Kyler, some of it's probably Drew Petzing. There's plenty enough blame to go around there, I'm sure. But I think they'll all figure it out. I don't think I think the Cardinals are going to get a little better later in the year. It's just the problems really are do they have the horses defensively? And they probably just don't right now. But
that'll be what next year's draft will be focused on.
Mm-hmm.
But those were the best wins. Let's jump over to the worst wins.
I remember my pick. You go first.
I have the Colts over the Dolphins, 16-10. When you have a win that low scoring, it's probably not a good sign, especially when the Dolphins without Tua have not looked good offensively really at all. Anthony Richardson came back this game. I still believe in him, but there's some tough games out there from him, and this is another one.
I believe in him. It's gonna take time, and I think
Yeah,
organizationally they believe in him too. So I
which
think
is
they're willing to
good.
give him that time. Um, but yeah, you'd want to see better from him. You want to see less bad decisions. You want to see more precise passing. But
I
I
want to
mean,
see him
CJ
slide instead of drop a
CJ Stroud
shoulder.
CJ Stroud just threw tour dates this past week as well. So
We'll get
should
into
happen.
that.
Yeah. In fact, he threw yesterday's date in that game.
We'll get into that.
Yeah. All right.
You're turning into a little CJ Stroud hater, dude. You're turning into a little hater.
I've always been a CJ Stroud hater.
No, you've been a Texans hater, but not a CJ Stroud hater.
I was a pre-draft CJ Stroud denier. I didn't think he was that good. I mean, I ate crow on that pretty quickly. I was very willing to admit that he's much better than I thought he would be. But he was my QB3. I did have Richardson rated higher. So, whoopsie daisies. Yeah.
But yeah, then your worst win.
My worst win, I'm going to go with Jacksonville for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, they fucked up their draft position. Reason number 2, Doug Peterson bought himself at least another week, probably another 2 weeks. So, yeah, it's not ideal. It's not ideal. Especially, they beat another team that's in contention for a top pick. So, this could be a tiebreaker thing.
Yep.
Like, if they both finish 3-14, 4-13, whatever, New England would have the tiebreaker because Jacksonville beat them.
I mean, on the flip side, great loss for the Patriots.
For New England, Drake May looks pretty good ultimately. Like, there's a lot around him that makes some things hard to evaluate, but the things you can evaluate, he's doing well. So he's been fairly accurate. He's not making terrible decisions. He's accurate deep as well, which, I mean, nobody questioned Drake May's ball.
The question is he going to take the easy passes? Is he going to take the layups?
And honestly, he's taken a decent number of them already.
Oh, yeah, he
doesn't look like he's looking for the big play every play. So
because he knows he'll die if he tries to.
Honestly, he's smart enough to know he should be holding onto the ball for 3 seconds, 4 seconds.
He said, "Fuck it." They saw me throw deep one time. This fan base is in love with me right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, for him to have 5 touchdown passes through his first 2 starts, you'll take it. You'll take it. If you're a Patriots fan, I'm sure. So. He doesn't look terrible. Get him an offensive lineman. Get him Kelvin Banks or some shit. Get him, I don't know. Get him some more weapons. Get him somebody besides Jalen Polk to throw to, who's already throwing temper tantrums 6 games into his career.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't know who's available in free agency for the offensive line.
It's a great free agent receiver class. Let's see how many of them actually get there. But it's a good year to need a receiver.
But I don't know. If I'm at the top of the draft and I see like an elite wide receiver prospect, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, that's. I mean, fair enough.
Fuck, if I see Travis Hunter, I might be like, hey, come here.
Yeah, I wouldn't. If he's entering the league as a receiver, I don't think he's the best receiver prospect.
He's an athlete. He's entering the league as an athlete.
Well, yeah, I'm saying if he says like at the combine, yeah, I want to play receiver in the league, I'm not taking him over T-Mac. You know what I mean? I'll take him. I might take him over Luther Burden. We'll see how the season plays out. I'm not taking over T-Mac, though. Now, if he says he wants to play corner, I'm not taking a single other player in the class before Travis Hunter.
Yeah,
he wants to play corner.
It's tough because it's like
he's the best player in college football.
I think
no matter what.
Play corner, have like some packages on offense.
If you need like a miracle drive, have some plays ready for him. So he can come in.
Nah, just any drive, just a couple plays for him.
I mean, no,
a couple at least packages that have him in there, even if he's not
the
focus of it. Because then it's obvious what you're doing. If it's always just go to him,
right? Design play, but I mean, yeah, let him play. I'm not saying don't let him play offensively, but I think his strongest game is as corner. Best ball skills of any corner you're ever gonna see. Just because he's a 2-way player, it's insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's a good football team. Also, Colorado this year much better than they were last year. They're like 5-2 right now.
QB1, Shedeur Sanders. Is that what you said?
From a pure football standpoint, maybe. I don't know if he wasn't a cock. I feel like I'd be more willing to put him as QB1. But
he's a Buffalo.
I don't know. Leadership at the quarterback position matters, and he does not have it. So I'd be hard pressed to pick anybody other than Cam Ward. I sure as shit am not picking Quinn Ewers or Carson Beck right now after the fucking last couple of weeks Carson Beck has had and how Ewers
draft Shedeur, keep him. Have him sit behind a good vet. Get Jacoby Brissett. Apparently that works.
Yeah. Also, what do you call it? Worth noting, 24/7 Sports posted and then immediately deleted a post saying Quinn Ewers was going to sit out the rest of the year and prepare for the NFL draft. Now, again, they immediately deleted the post, but the fact that they even had a graphic ready for that means something is going on. Internally, somebody knows something that he either is planning on doing this or there's at least a conversation
That would
involved where he
that would tank his draft.
that's exactly what I said.
It's not like he's on a bad team and people can be like, you know what? We know the NFL is a business. That's a good choice. He's on. I forgot what they fell to.
Fifth ranked team in the country right now.
Yeah,
going to win. I mean,
going to go to the playoffs.
Gonna be in the playoffs, almost guaranteed at this point.
Yeah,
and for especially, he's not a solidified first round pick. He has injury concerns. Even then, when he's on the field, he's not an elite quarterback. He is a guy who's much closer to like. There's a better chance probably he goes round 3 than round 1. And he is like, if he were to sit out the season, he might not go day 2 if he quits on his team.
With what we're seeing, like how people approach drafting a quarterback now, I think you mentioned it. Like we might see it's either you go day 1 or you go day 3.
Right, which is what we saw last year with the Spencer Rattler. You know what I mean? And you're not going to see now in this class. Maybe we're going to see some guys go day 2 because there are genuinely there's 2 quarterbacks you should maybe consider taking round 1. I wouldn't consider Jalen Milroe round 1. He's not nowhere near good enough. I don't think the league does either. Quite frankly, I think Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward are going to be the only 2 quarterbacks going round 1. And it's not impossible to say that Shedeur might be the only one of them that's like a top 10 pick. Cam Ward might go with like 17 or some shit.
Okay, so this is not a trade.
Yeah.
But do you want to play the game we did last year where a NFL kind of something happened?
Did somebody get cut?
This is an extension.
An extension? Okay.
Do you want to...
was extended to Amari Cooper?
No. This is a player on the team that drafted him.
On the team that drafted him.
Not a like rookie contract extension or anything.
Not a rookie, so it's a guy who's been solidified in the league who's getting extension. On the team that drafted him, been in the league a while. It'd be nice if the Bucs just extended Chris Godwin. Is that what it is?
No.
It'd be nice if they did that to give him one less.
I'll tell you this though.
During rehab,
you're in the right division.
Oh, okay. Did the Saints just wait? No, Paulson Adebo is on his rookie deal. Is it Lattimore?
No, but I'll give it to you. You found the team.
Okay, is it Demario Davis or fucking what's his face? Is it who the fuck?
Other side of the ball.
Jordan? Oh, other side of the ball. Okay. Is it Shaheed?
Mm-mm.
I think he's a pending free agent. Who the fuck would it be? Eric McCoy? Fucking.
Do you want me to tell you how much what it was? What name did you just say?
Kamara?
Yeah.
Okay. Good for him.
2 years, $24.5 million.
That's a good deal for Kamara. With how he's playing this year, $12 million a year is very, very much reasonable.
With the running back market, yeah.
For a good running back play, especially, they're becoming more valuable now, and he can catch passes really well. Yeah, good job. That's VFL, Alvin Kamara, right there. The second coming of Alvin Kamara is going to be in this year's draft. It's Dylan Sampson. Shout out my man, Dylan Sampson. By the way, I was on the PFF mock draft simulator today. Dylan Sampson is not in it, which is insane because he's going to be a top 50 pick probably, and he's not in the PFF mock draft simulator yet.
Yeah, all mock draft simulators have a weird thing about certain players being on or not. I don't know what it is, if they're guessing they're coming out or not.
He's a third-year player, so maybe they think he'll stay another year, and I don't think it's impossible for Sampson to stay another year, but he's playing so well, I don't know why he wouldn't just go to the NFL. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe he wants to stay. I don't think he should. I think he should just take his money and go to the league. But who knows? But yeah, good for Kamara. Happy for him. Good. Good extension. Good extension there. So.
We can Let's do. All right. Let's jump over to best losses.
Best loss.
Mine is the Texans to the Packers, for the simple fact that the Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud does not play well, and it is a close loss to a really good opponent in their stadium. Yeah. So in a way, you can say what you want about C.J. Stroud. If you take a step back, it kind of does paint a better picture of the team overall, just being able with that hindrance, without arguably their best player, their best player in Nico Collins still being out. To have that such a close game to a really good opponent, I'm going to put them in best loss. And that's really all I have to say. It's just a simple of because there's not many good teams that played a good team that had close games.
If your quarterback is throwing tour dates and you only lose by 2 points on the road against a really good team, chances are you have a lot to look forward to. Because it's not like C.J. Stroud's going to go 10 of 21 every week. You know what I mean? That's a rare case. It's a good secondary. He's missing his top weapon. It's not repeatable. It's not going to happen again, more than likely. So, yeah, definitely good loss there for Houston. Especially, it's not like they're facing any threats inside their division. Tennessee's 1-5. Jacksonville is 2-5. The Colts are 4-3, I think. So, and then Houston is, what are they now? 5-2. Indy's only a game back, but it's not like they've looked any more impressive than Houston has. So, I wouldn't stress it. And then my best loss,
Yes, sir.
for opposite reasons, I'm going with the Giants because sometimes you just have to get your ass kicked to know, okay, change needs to come, and change needs to come. I think I want to like Dayball, but I think they need to clean house.
Yeah.
At this point, after what happened last year.
I mean, based on all the clips we've seen from Hard Knocks, I think the moment Saquon signed with the Eagles, Mara was probably I don't think this GM's going to be here next year.
Joe Shane.
He made it so clear he did not want that exact thing to happen, and then it did. And then what happens? Happens. He's like, you guys are all fucked.
Yeah. Joe Shane's son also desperately wanted him to trade up for Jaden Daniels, by the way, from that Hard Knocks clip. And his exact words, Joe Shane's son might be smarter than Joe Shane. Joe Shane's son said, "You only get this job once. You might as well try to win." He's right. Unless you're Trent Baalke for some fucking reason, you don't get more than one chance at being an NFL GM.
I'll think there's no way they could have, but still.
But for him to say hey, be aggressive at least. As good as Malik Neighbors is, you'd feel a lot better about them if they had Jaden Daniels right now. They'd be looking a lot better, but. They sure as shit don't. They could have. I don't know why. I guess I know why. I love Malik Neighbors. They probably should have just taken J.J. McCarthy there. You're never going to go an entire draft class without getting a good wide receiver prospect. Great quarterbacks do not come out every year.
Right.
And
a great prospect is not coming out this year.
It's not like they didn't know this quarterback class was going to be bad. No, everybody knew. Back in April of this year that, hey, we're not optimistic about this quarterback class right now. There's you're banking on somebody to take that leap, and nobody has except Cam Ward looks better, and Shador looks better purely just by having more wide receiver talent around him and at least a better offensive line than what it was last year. But Quinn has improved, but not enough. Jalen Milroe has improved, but not enough, and Carson Beck honestly looks worse this year. Way more turnovers than he did this time last year. There's nothing to hang your hat on with quarterbacks in this draft class. They should have just taken McCarthy. Because if they pick high again this year, okay, you've got Travis Hunter if you want to play wide receiver. You've got T-Mac. You've got Luther Burden. You have options here at wide receiver if you're picking high. I don't know. Malik Neighbors is fantastic, but probably just should have gone QB instead of sticking with the guy who you shouldn't have paid but did. Whatever. Anywho, we can move on to worst loss here.
Worst loss. So my worst loss was the Jets losing to the Steelers. You make the trade for Devontae Adams, and like I was saying, hey, Devontae Adams, there'll be some plays, but it doesn't fix the core issues. And it's 1 week. He knows that system. He knows that offense. He knows that quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe they get better as it goes along. Maybe more so than anything, it's less about Devontae Adams and finding the new pecking order and when to go where with the ball. So they could still get better, but
yeah,
it's not looking good. Devontae Adams loses to the Steelers 2 weeks in a row. Aaron Rodgers keeps giving the ball to the other team, something that, and I know, they're not all him. The one that bounced right off of Garrett Wilson, it's not on Aaron Rodgers, but the thing that he was just known for, like, not doing, like, he was really good at with the big plays that he would make, accurate, didn't turn the ball over. 2 weeks in a row, I think, at this point, he's given it to the other team.
He's had some turnovers this year, more than you're used to from Aaron Rodgers. More interceptions than you'd see normally.
But yeah, it's just that team, that coaching staff offensively, still not noticeably better. I mean, Devontae Adams is only going to do so much. He doesn't pass protect. He doesn't throw the ball. He only fixes so much.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's worst loss. You make the trade, people get excited, and then you lose to the Steelers, who were controversially made a quarterback change that, for the better. It looks like for the better.
Like Mike Tomlin said, there's a reason I'm well compensated.
Yep.
Yeah. Good decision. Good to see. The offense looks better with Russell Wilson. He's a better fit for what Arthur Smith likes to do. And most importantly, Russell Wilson's moon ball looks good again. He's always had that really pretty deep ball, but for whatever reason, when he was in Denver, it just looked broken. Like he wasn't putting the ball where it needed to be. It didn't look right mechanically. Like it looked weird. It didn't look like Russell Wilson's deep ball. Russell Wilson had a couple of those hole shots in this game. They looked like Russell Wilson's deep ball. So, he's not 100%, Russell Wilson of old, but at the very least, he looks more like Russell Wilson now than he has in like 3 years. So it's nice to see. They should keep rolling with him, until he proves otherwise. So, for better or for worse, I mean, they didn't look too bad. Najee ran his ass off too. Very funny press conference clip of
all-timer
all-time press conference clip where Najee, you were running possessed tonight, and then shout out my fella, but he didn't say fella.
I guess he was looking at the screen or something. That's my fella.
Yeah, shout out my by the time they got to the next question, we're still laughing. But yeah, all-time press conference clip there from Najee Harris. That was fucking hilarious. George Pickens looks happy. I never see George Pickens look happy, but he sure as shit looked happy in this game. So, when you throw good deep passes, he will catch them. He is that kind of guy. So, good for him as well. And yeah, I'm gonna go with my worst loss. Who did I even go with? Okay, I went with New Orleans here. Because, you start out 2-0, you drop 5 straight, and then, not to mention, you've got all these injuries now compounding for you. It's just like, what do you do?
You say fuck.
You're probably not happy with Dennis Allen, even though you can't really say this season's his fault. He's not doing much to overcome it either. You shouldn't be happy at this point with Mickey Loomis. They haven't drafted well enough. Quite frankly, they've kicked the can down the road financially so many years now that they can't afford anybody. They can't afford free agents, at least.
You don't have an exciting young quarterback.
No,
you have a young quarterback.
Rattler's just not good right now, and you shouldn't expect him to be either. He's a 5th-round pick. He's not a guy they drafted to be a starter. That was a flyer of, hey, this guy's got talent. Let's hope he can put it together. But you're not going to not take a quarterback next year or not try to find a quarterback next year because you have Spencer Rattler on the roster. That's ridiculous. You've got 2 good receivers at least that you could be excited about, and then some pieces on the offensive line. But I mean, Ramchek's probably not going to be around much longer with the injuries he's taking, and he's already 30. Yeah, there's not a ton to be excited. There's not a lot of young pieces on defense either. There's no elite young player besides like in the secondary. Like you have to pay Paulson Adebo. He's a free agent this year. They have Alontae Taylor, but Lattimore is not getting any younger. They don't have anybody like they have Brian Rasee on the defensive line. That's about it in terms of young pieces to be excited about. Um, there's just not a lot of hope, long term. They don't have the right head coach. They don't have the right GM. They don't have the right quarterback, and they're missing young talent pretty much everywhere. So I don't know. It's just depressing. Like they started off well this year, and you were hoping they could carry that through. They haven't. It's been disastrous ever since. And you can only imagine the murder rate in New Orleans has gone back up.
God, it's got to be terrible now.
Last 5 weeks. It's got to, yeah. They went like 13 days without somebody dying. Yeah, there's no way it's been. Folks are probably getting killed.
It probably hasn't been 13 hours.
No, somebody probably just got stabbed right now. It happens. So, I don't like. It would be ridiculous to include them at this point just because it's obvious. But Carolina got blown out once again, and it did not look any better once Marcus Mariota got in. They still couldn't stop a nosebleed defensively. It's just awful. I don't even know what you do. I don't know what you can do if you're Carolina. You're fucked. I mean, there's nothing to be excited about.
Yeah, I don't know. You tell yourself, what, Derek Brown comes back next year. We draft somebody in the first round, second round. We should have money to spend in free agency because we're not paying a quarterback. Who's going to
want to come in free agency, though? Like
you overpay.
You got to overpay by a lot to get people to come play for a team with no hope. Like, you got to get yourself – you got to ideally probably somebody who's already won a Super Bowl. That way they're not necessarily ring chasing.
Whatever pitch you gave Adam Thielen that made him think you were Super Bowl contenders, play that pitch on repeat.
I don't know also, at this point, just get Bryce Young his job back. Andy Dalton's not getting it done either. It's at least play Bryce, let him work some shit out. Like, but I don't know what you're doing. Like, what's he learning right now? Watching his team get blown out by 37 points. I don't know. Try it. Fuck it. I don't know. I don't know what you do.
They do have their first round pick, though, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Could double check that. They're picking. They're currently second in draft order. God, that is bright.
Is somebody supposed to be coming out that's really good at quarterback 2 years from now? Like, do you say fuck it this year, next draft?
Arch Manning would be the one off the top of my head. Yeah, Arch. And then if Nico can figure it the fuck out, Nico as well. I mean, he can fucking rip it. But the problem is he's just not. He doesn't see the field consistently.
Does Drew Aller come back a year in Penn? Or do you think?
Whether he does or doesn't, I don't think it's not somebody you're banking on getting the next year. Like, he's not good enough for that.
Well, you're bad this year, so you take high-end talent this year that's not quarterback. You're still bad at quarterback, so overall you're bad. You take a quarterback.
From a fan perspective, yes, that's what you should do. But we're going to be in year 2 of new coach, new GM in Carolina next year. If they're awful 2 years in a row, do they get to keep their job?
I think they should, but given it's Tepper.
It's David Tepper. Yeah, he's not patient enough for that, I don't think. I know Brian Callahan and Rand Carthon are not getting fired this year in Tennessee for sure. I'm not even sure the Carolina staff is going to survive year 1. Probably yes, but I mean, if they finish 1-16, you don't know. You don't know because they don't look well coached either. There's not hope for much of anything in Carolina right now. So
yeah, because you look at the teams that I'm forgetting his name. Who's the head coach of the Panthers right now?
Dave Canales.
Canales, yeah. Because the whole thing was like, look what he did for Baker, look what he did for Geno.
They look better without him.
They look great.
They look fantastic. I mean, they've got Ryan Grubb in Seattle. He's doing a great job. And Liam Cohen, Will Levis is Kentucky offensive coordinator, is the offensive coordinator in Tampa right now. Yep. He looks like he's doing a great job. Baker's playing the best football of his career. Geno is playing the best football of his career. So you can't even hang your hat on Canales like, oh yeah, that's what I said for the entirety of last year. I said, look how much worse Geno looked last year without Dave Canales. And then I fully expected Baker to regress at least a little bit this year. No, they've both gotten better. And
big test for Baker going forward though without his receivers.
Yeah, Jalen McMillan is going to be getting 12 targets a game. Deserved though. I think that'll be fun.
They're gonna keep that triple-headed monster now that they've developed in the back. Monster might be too strong of a word, but triple threat backfield with the running backs.
You got to find creative ways, to use all of them. Bucky Irving, Sean Tucker, and of course Rashad White. But
I don't know if those two young guys lit a fire under him. I think he's playing well. I think he's playing pretty well right now.
I still don't love him as a runner. Like he's just a much better pass catcher than he is a runner. I think Bucky Irving's a better runner of the football right now, and Sean Tucker might even be a better runner of the football.
Which sucks because I picked up Bucky Irving and I was like, cool, Rashad White's out for a little bit, and then it's like, oh, this other guy might be better. I was like, son of a bitch.
Pleased with his performance.
Love that though.
Yeah, he's a fun guy, man. I like that he's getting an opportunity now, but. So it's going to do it for best win.
Pick time.
It is pick time.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to go get some water real quick.
Okay.
Go ahead and do the rundown, though, while I'm out.
Okay. I'll run everything down while you're out. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a terrible week. Me and Jacob tied. 10 correct picks apiece. So, we were both right about Denver, both right about Jacksonville. I was right about Seattle. He was wrong. He had Atlanta. I was right about Buffalo. He was wrong. He had Tennessee. Both right about Cincy. He was right about Green Bay. I was wrong about Houston. Both right about Indy. Both wrong about Minnesota. Sorry, Detroit. I think we both thought you were like top tier teams. Actually, I can even check where I had the Lions ranked overall last week. I had them as the 5th best team in football last week. Going into that game, I just had the Lions a tad bit higher, and I figured they're at home, they'll win. It was a close one, though. But yeah, we were wrong about that one. Both, I don't know. He fucked me, dude. He talked me into picking the Giants. I bought in. Philly wins and dominates. I should have one up on him, but instead, I bought into his nonsense. Both right about the Rams over Vegas. Both right about Washington over Carolina. And then he was right about Kansas City. I was wrong about San Fran. And then both wrong about the Jets. Both right about Baltimore. And, both wrong about the Jets. Both right about Baltimore. Both right about Arizona.
What's cracking?
I just finished the rundown.
Fuck you, brother.
Yeah, we tied with 10.
Mm-hmm.
So we go into this week. Let's see. I didn't give the
You're
full
up
standing.
by 9 or something.
8. I'm up by 8 right now. 67 to 59. Let's see. I've had some big wins, some big weeks. You've only ever beaten me once by 1. It's either ties. Or let's see, I was up by 4, up by 2, up by 3, and then ties. Interesting. But yeah, these last 2 weeks,
ice cream truck outside right now.
Go outside.
Right back.
2 weeks in a row we tied. Well, let's get into this week's picks.
I think we both got 10 right each of the last 2 weeks as well.
Yes.
We were 10 and 4 last week too. Yeah.
Yep. This week, Thursday Night Football, Vikings at the Rams. Easy Vikings pick.
Bounce back, baby. Right? I mean, also, I saw a report today. There's no way this is true, but I saw Minnesota heavily interested in Matt Stafford, and it was going to be like Stafford and then Darnold and a pick or something like that. No fucking way is that happening.
No.
That's insane. Not this late in the season. Hell no.
Yeah, Sam Darnold's played well.
And you don't make a quarterback change in order to do a Super Bowl push when you're 5-1. No.
Yeah.
Darnold. It's not like Darnold's playing poorly. Darnold's playing pretty well. Whatever. Ravens at Browns. Ravens by 1 million. I'm sorry. I don't care if it's Jameis or DTR. It doesn't raise the ceiling of this offense a whole lot. Neither of them are good quarterbacks. It's
offensive line's going to just let them get shredded.
Yeah, there's not a lot to like here in Cleveland right now offensively. Receivers are not good. They're not catching. Now, Cedric Tillman had 8 catches for 88 yards or some shit, or 82, something like that. Cedric Tillman had himself a nice game last week. So I did say, when Cooper was traded, I said I hope that opens things up for Cedric Tillman. It has. So I'm glad he's seeing the field. I'm glad he's catching passes now. All I want for Christmas is more completions to Cedric Tillman every week for the rest of the year. I love Cedric Tillman. VFL, shout out Cedric Tillman. I did famously say he was a better receiver prospect than Jalen Hyatt. I do think that's still true to this point. Hyatt is not good right now, unfortunately. Titans at Lions.
Lions.
Detroit's favored by 11 right now. That might be too low.
Yeah, I got them
That might
covering.
be too low. Give me Lions to cover. I might tease that upwards a bit this weekend.
Tease. Colts at Texans. I think this was close last time, but
it was in Indy. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna go.
And the Texans had Nico Collins.
But even without Nico Collins, this is a bad secondary. It's a bad defense. Joe Mixon is gonna have 200 yards in this game. So
yeah, give me the Texans.
I don't care. Yeah, give me Houston. They'll run the damn ball if they have to.
Touchdown.
Packers at Jags. Give me Green Bay.
Yep.
Pretty handily.
Easy pick.
Cardinals at Dolphins. Is Tua back? Dolphins are favored. I think Tua's back this week, allegedly.
He might be. Not wearing a Guardian cap.
Oh, well, that's his business. I'm going to go with the Cardinals.
Yeah. It was just a big stir when he gave the answer.
I can't believe the Jets are favored by 7.
7?
On the road at New England. I am taking New England to cover.
I'll take them to cover.
What the fuck?
I'll stick with
I'll
stick with the Jets to win, though.
I think so, too. But, like, I don't know. Gerard Mayo just called his players soft. Like, that's not usually a good message to, when you're a rookie head coach and, the way to talk about your football team. But do your thing, man. Atlanta at Tampa. No Godwin, potentially no Mike Evans.
Probably not. Even if he's not out for like the year or that long, probably not going to be this game.
Give me Atlanta.
Give me Atlanta. If the Bucks win, huge conversations need to be had. But give me the Falcons.
Yeah, give me the Falcons.
Eagles at Bengals. Give me the Bengals.
God, I hope the Bengals win this game by 50. God,
I just need them to win.
Yeah. Saints at Chargers should be a bounce back week for the Chargers. There's not a lot of optimism right now in New Orleans.
Yeah, Chargers for sure. Bills at Seahawks. Josh Allen's the MVP, baby. Give me the Bills. Go ahead, take them.
Picking Seattle for the sake of us. We haven't picked a different outcome in a game yet this week so far. No. And looking down the board, I'm not sure we're going to. Fuck.
Probably
Give me.
Not. Yeah, I got the Bills.
Yeah, Buffalo's kind of rolling right now, though.
Keon Coleman has a breakout game, 4 catches over 100 yards. Amari Cooper, another week in that offense, having already caught a touchdown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, give me. Fuck it, give me Seattle.
All right. Bears at Commanders.
Bears are coming off a bye. Jaden Daniels is probably not going to play. I'm taking the Bears.
Oh, he's not going to play.
Probably not. He's week to week. That usually doesn't mean you come back the first week.
Yeah, okay. I'll pick the Bears. If it comes out Jaden Daniels is playing, I might switch to Commanders, but I got Bears.
I think I'll just take Bears regardless because they're coming off a bye, and I trust the Bears defense a lot more than I trust the Commanders defense.
That is very true.
I'll take the Bears in this one. Best corner is Jalen Johnson versus best corner is Benjamin St. Just. Yeah, not scared. So
Panthers at Broncos. Hard to pick the Panthers in any game right now.
It feels like a game the Panthers might weirdly win, but I'm picking Denver.
Yeah.
But if I looked over, like I'm not going to be watching this game because fuck the 4:00 slate. I don't give a shit about I don't know, like AFC West or NFC West football for the most part. But yeah, if I'm watching Bears Manders and I look over and I see the scores of like 13-10 Panthers in like the third quarter, I'm not going to be shocked. You know what I mean?
Sure.
The Broncos are one of the weirdest 4-3 teams probably ever.
Keep bouncing around on how good they are.
I mean, it's working somehow, kind of a little bit, but I don't know.
They got a white corner,
Chiefs, yeah, that's true. Riley fucking Moss. Chiefs at Raiders. Give me the Chiefs by a million. I don't
Chiefs,
care how.
Can they please lose a game soon, though? How funny would it be if this was their first loss?
That'd be hilarious because they don't really lose AFC West games either. Which is the funny part. They always dominate their division. But at the same time, like, I don't know. Like, outside of the turnovers, they don't have any negative plays offensively. Like, you never see a tackle for loss on a run. You never see a screen that goes for like -2 yards. They're always moving the ball at least a little bit. It's like, I don't trust the Raiders defense to stop that. So I think I'm going to go with Kansas City.
Cowboys at Niners.
I don't even fucking care.
The
at this
injured
point. Give me
bowl,
San
baby.
Francisco. Yeah, give me the
Injured
the
offense
hospital
versus
bowl.
injured defense.
Give me the 49ers, but
Yeah, give me the 49ers.
I don't feel great about that.
Coached better, quarterbacked better still. You still have Jordan Mason. They can still run the football.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me the Niners. And then Giants at Steelers with the fucking craziest schedule in the league.
I don't think 6.5 is enough points at home in prime time for Pittsburgh. They should be favored by like 8.
Primetime Daniel Jones. Like what we talked about Kirk Cousins in primetime is what Daniel Jones is in primetime.
Give me Pittsburgh, and I'm not even going to think twice about it. And that does it. I mean, nobody's on bye this week. No bye weeks this week. There's 16 games. I just noticed that. It's a weird week for nobody to be on bye. It's week 8.
Yeah, it's 1 week before the perfect week of having a bye week.
Right. It's odd. I would have been okay with a week 8 bye, but
yeah.
Whatever. Better than week 5. Not like it did us any good. We still fucking lost after the bye week and then lost the next game. So.
Are you ready for Brayden's best?
Brayden's breast. Let's get to it, buddy.
Okay. Coming in at number 1. The best team in football. Give me the Baltimore Ravens. MVP, possibly Offensive Player of the Year on that team currently. Give me the Ravens. Number 2. An unlikely candidate competing for MVP with Lamar. Give me the Lions with Jared Goff leading the way.
Absolutely.
They're still looking good despite Aiden Hutchinson's injury. Turnovers helping out a lot with that. Give me the Lions. At number 3, somehow still undefeated. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Coming in at number 4. Were once, the second to last team to be undefeated. Have fallen to a really good opponent in the division. But this team, still only 1 loss. It was a close one. Give me the Minnesota Vikings at number 4.
Okay.
At number 5, this receiving group just got a big upgrade. And another one, a young one, is starting to look like they might be coming along. And they have maybe the best quarterback in football. Give me the Bills with Josh Allen.
Yes, sir.
Number 6. Just faced a tough opponent. Made their quarterback look bad. Have another guy on that team who's possibly in the race. Not possibly. He's in the race, but could possibly be Defensive Player of the Year with how he's turning the ball over. Give me the Packers at number 6. At number 7, so close to number 6 because the game they lost was so close to number 6. I'm going to put the Houston Texans here. There is a super weapon loading up to come back to this team. I don't want people to forget that man will be back on the field. Nico Collins will be back. At number 8, it doesn't matter apparently who the quarterback is. This team will drop 40 on you. Commanders at number 8.
Yes, sir.
Number 9. They rose to really high up there, dropped precipitously. They look like they might be on the upswing again as they defeat a fellow bird. I got the Seahawks at number 9.
Fellow bird. God.
Then at number 10, I'm looking around. This team is the worst team in their division. But they're in the best division in football. Quarterback's been figuring out. The offense is starting to look better. Defense, I already felt, at least solidly about one of the best cornerbacks in football. Holding it down over there. Give me the Chicago Bears at number 10.
I love everything about what you just did and completely agree with all of it, except I think I might even move Buffalo ahead of Minnesota right now.
Possibly.
And because I think if they played on a neutral field, I do think Buffalo would win that game right now. Just
You
with
might be right.
yeah, I not
That's a tough
I
one.
think they're neck and neck. I think
Yeah,
it's
to
splitting
me, I
hairs. I
just
don't really
leaned like
care.
the record that they have right now, this overall team success. It feels more balanced. Amari Cooper is probably going to swing this back to the Bills'
Hmm.
favor as he gets more acclimated, and now they have a true number one wide receiver. But
Hmm.
for a while, it kind of felt like Josh Allen was having to carry a lot. But now with
Yeah,
some, with a better receiving core, maybe that burden will be lessened a little bit. And obviously, Josh Allen's the better quarterback. But yeah, so that could change. But I just went, hey, Vikings have been dominant on both sides of the ball. Head coach is maybe one of the best offensive play callers we got right now. I'm assuming he's play calling. I guess I've never actually thought to check. But and then Brian Flores coaching up
yeah. Kevin
the
O'Connell's calling
defense.
plays.
I
Yeah,
assumed.
O'Connell's calling plays.
I never actually checked to see if it's a coach or a coordinator because usually
I don't even
it
think they have an official like offensive coordinator title on the Vikings.
you don't need one with Kevin O'Connell.
No, hell no. It's just like Kyle Shanahan, or Sean McVay. Like you don't need that guy.
Yeah,
He can do it on his own.
yeah. So I just leaned. Hey, I think this team. I guess the record's better and they're being coached better. So I just went with the Vikings to be up there. But yeah, that's Brayden's best. Let's just do one of each, rapid fire. Let's cut deep.
Let's do it.
Icebreaker. What's the greatest thing you've ever tasted? Boy pussy.
I was gonna say Braden's cock.
Cookie cake. A good bite of a cookie cake.
Give me give me the best cheesecake you've ever
That's a
seen.
fucking good one.
Give
That's
me
good.
Sensational.
Okay. Deep. Lose all the money you've earned this year, or lose all the memories you've gained this year.
Well, most of the money I've earned this year has been spent already. So, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess I'd have to go with the money. New job. I don't think I can. I don't think I should lose the last 6 months of memory.
Yeah.
Just the last 6 months I've been working there. Yeah.
I'm gonna make more money this year, anyways. All right.
So, all right, and then deeper.
Deeper.
Okay, I don't know why this was a deeper. Have you had any surgeries? For what? I have not. I've had an endoscopy. That's the only, and like my wisdom teeth taken out. That's
I've
the
never
only
had
time.
surgery. I don't even have. I still have my tonsils.
I still have mine too. Yeah.
I had a heart murmur when I was a baby, but even then, that didn't require surgery at all. So, like, I think it just went away. I've never had any surgeries, no.
Is it time to see if we're on the same wavelength?
I believe it is.
Okay, so I will close my pretty blue eyes.
And I will come up with a
Number. Your number is numbering. Number.
Okay, I have a number.
Okay.
I have a number.
Give me an NFL head coach.
Dave Canale. We'll go with Dave Canale.
Okay, I'm not going to put him at like 1 or anything because there's the potential there, but it's not looking good. I don't think it's looking good. I'll just I'm thinking like 3. I think the highest you could put him right now is, I don't know, it might be 3. Even though, I don't think he should get fired after 1 year, but well, yeah. So I'll put him at 3. Give me shit. Just give me a flavor of ice cream. It's definitely low, so it's gonna be hard because ice cream is good.
So yeah, I don't know that I've ever had a flavor of ice cream that I was like really
This,
not fucking with. I guess flavor I would imagine I don't really fuck with. I guess give me pistachio.
yeah, that feels pretty good. That feels pretty good at 3. You know, something mint could be like a number 1. The number 1. Yeah, if you eat mint chocolate chip ice cream, you bitch.
I do think, yeah, like if it's your favorite, I'm gonna have some questions about you, but I think it's fine.
Okay. Give me a sexual kink.
Ugh. I had a thought immediately, but I think that might even be a different number. Maybe not quite where I'm at right now.
So 1 just flash in your head.
Oh. Ooh. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with scat play.
Ew, dude, ew.
You asked the question, motherfucker.
Ew, you gross.
You asked me about kinks and which one. You knew it was gonna be a low answer. You didn't think you were gonna get something gross. Are you
I
stupid?
don't know. Well, it's 3 still feels solid because it's nothing illegal. So
I wasn't even considering illegal thing. I mean, I thought you meant like.
I mean, like
kinks as in,
I'm trying to think, or
I had something.
or
like,
even
maybe
just
in the
role
neighborhood.
playing something illegal.
Yeah, I was gonna say I had something in the neighborhood. Probably was my
Okay.
first thought, but.
Ugh. And you know, okay, maybe 2, 3, number 2 for scat playing. That'd be a big brain. That'd be pretty big brained.
I'd be pretty fucking intelligent.
So I'm 2-3 right now. I'm 2-3. Give me a Pokeball.
Oh, I got some opinions. Hang on.
Hold up.
Not that I have like crazy strong opinions that it's fresh in my mind.
Dog's about to hit me with a fucking quick ball. Timer ball.
Okay, so I don't know if I'm just doing this just based on design or if I'm doing this based on effect as well. But give me. Oh, hang on. Which one is that? Okay, hang on. This is better. This is a chart. Give me a full screen.
Enhance.
I'm trying.
Jarvis, zoom in.
Jarvis, show me this guy's balls, please. Okay.
That's
the resolution
what I'm
on this
saying.
image is too fucking low. Okay, here we go. This is a much better one. Okay, that's probably that number.
Something's calling your name right now. Let it rip.
Okay, somebody. Oh, that one fucks. Okay. Give me the sports ball.
Okay.
Give me a sports ball.
Let me see what it does.
I don't even remember. I think it's something like you can only use in a certain area. Kind of like the safari ball in that sense, I think. Because it's like, what do you call it?
It
It's
can
like
be
that,
used to catch wild Pokemon during a bug catching contest at the national
that's what
park.
I was thinking was at the in the Heart Gold Soul Silver or whatever. I think that's where you get the sports ball.
Okay.
So
What's it look like? Okay, the Bulbapedia picture is significantly better than all the other ones I see. So I'm assuming that that one must be just from the anime or something. Is it just like a normal Pokeball with like another Pokeball symbol on top of it?
and it's like a more orangish hue than
Okay,
red,
that's the one we're looking at here. Yeah, okay. Because the one that Bulbapedia has, when you look it up, looks great. But yeah, this one,
Oh, well, that's probably not
yeah.
what I'm looking at.
So yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm a 2 on it. I still feel like a 3. I still feel like a 3. So is this my last question?
You asked, what did you ask? You asked NFL coaches,
We have Canales,
ice
Pistachio.
cream, kinks, Pokeball.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got one question left.
We found out Jacob is into scat play.
That's not at all what. No, sir.
Okay. Give me. Give me a kitchen appliance.
Damn.
Blenders, crock pots, coffee makers. If you have an ice cream maker.
I'm having a hard time thinking of a kitchen appliance I don't fuck with, though. This is my only concern, because, like...
Well, did you think of something?
Okay. An electronic s'mores maker.
Okay. Yeah, you take the fun out of that's the funnest part of s'mores is how you make them.
Mm-hmm.
Outside campfire, and you take that away. I've been feeling 3 this whole time. I'll hit myself if I say a different number and it turns out to be 3, so I'm just gonna stick with 3. Final answer, locked in.
It was 2.
We played with the idea.
So, the reason Dave Canales is not a 1 is because he's a rookie head coach who went into an absolutely abhorrent situation. He just hasn't done anything to make it look any better. So,
he gets some
hard
grades.
to say anything good about him. For the scat play, the only reason it's not a 1 is because age play exists. And that's nasty. And you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
There's some other role play stuff.
I can at least see how that one would be hot to some people. That's like a fantasy that somebody would realistically have, like being done to them, right? But like in a well, maybe we're not thinking of the same thing.
What were you thinking of?
I was thinking of CNC.
CNC?
Christian McCaffrey. No, it's consenting non-consent is what that is.
Consenting non-consent. That just sounds crazy to me. I think it. I think
I'm
worth.
with you. It's not my thing. I'm saying I on some level understand more how somebody would be into that than pretending their partner is 5 years old.
Okay, I'll give you that last part.
If you told me, look, I have fantasies about being like total, like if you're completely submissive, if that's your type, if you do the BDSM test,
but what gets me is the other person.
Okay, yeah, yes, but if you're a people pleaser, it's not necessarily that you would enjoy doing that. It's that you know your partner would like it if you did that. I would be worried about the kind of guy who's like, I want to pretend I'm having sex with my partner, not consensually. But I'm not going to worry about the, like, but, you know, like, it's not something I'd want to do.
Dude, and I'm soft.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Like, because I'd feel like I'm doing something. I'd feel like I don't ever want to feel like I'm, like, I can't even, I've had issues with, like, I had a partner who she was, like, she liked to be hit. But like I didn't even want to hit her in the face because I'd feel like an asshole if I slapped my girlfriend in the face.
I think it would take a second, but I think like, once I cross that threshold, I'd be like, yeah, fuck you. Just like any transgression from the past, you're like, well, get to take it out right now. You know,
I did end up doing it a couple of times, and it ended up being like, okay, that's me, because I thought I'd cry if I did. Now, if I ever did it too hard and it like stopped, I would feel so bad if it made it stop because it's like, oh fuck, like I would.
You hit so hard, they just, like, oh fuck,
no,
gotta take this out immediately.
I mean, like, if a woman told me, I want to pretend I'm powerless in this situation, and that, like, versus if a woman told me I want to pretend I'm 5 years old.
What if she said she wants you to pretend you're 5 years old?
I would judge it just as harshly, and I would judge one of those more harshly than the other. I would anything involving somebody pretending they are way too young to give consent, and anything that involves, I would judge much more severely than somebody telling me that they are, because technically by that definition it's a non-consensual act as well. You're still role-playing a non-consensual act because children can't consent. So now you're not only role playing a non-consensual act, you're role playing an act involving a child, whereas somebody who's into CNC is just role playing a non-consensual act. So
Yeah.
I'm
To me,
I'm
both are ones.
to me, one of them's a 1.5, and one of them's a 1. I think, like I said, one of them's a 0. H play is a fucking 0.
Okay, yeah.
H play is a 0. CNC
To me, both
be a
are
1,
zeros
H-play
then,
is,
if one gets to be
but
a 0.
yes, I think because, like I said, like even though I would still be like, okay, that's not for me. Like I said, I would judge one way more harshly than the other if somebody told me they were into one or the other. No question about it. I think one of them would be. I would be much more weirded out. Like I wouldn't even want to be around you in the slightest if you were. If I would be worried if you ended up having kids. If you told
Okay,
me.
okay, I'll give you this then. I couldn't forget friends. I don't think I could like work with somebody who outright had said that age thing. I think I could. I think I could work with somebody who I knew was doing.
If I heard in the break room, oh yeah, I like to pretend I'm 5 years old. I would report them to HR immediately.
I like it when my partner rips off my diaper.
Oh my god! I didn't even think about the physical implications. Let's move on. I'm gonna cover my eyes now.
Bad time to cover your eyes, brother. You don't know what's about to go down.
I'm gonna pretend that we didn't just have that conversation, and I'm gonna move on, and I'm gonna guess your number here.
Oh fuck. Let's go. All right. I have shown a number.
Give me an NFL jersey.
Maybe. Do you know when the Packers would wear like those yellow helmets, like the solid yellow helmets?
All right, we're in negative territory here then.
Whatever the jersey was.
We're looking at somewhere between a 1 and a 3. We're in a bad spot. We're in a bad spot. I don't think that's a very good jersey at all, quite frankly. I think
But what do you think I think about it?
I'd never met anybody that liked those. It's like you're talking about like the yellow and like navy or whatever combination they had. Yeah, those look like shit. They don't even wear those anymore, and for good reason. I hope they never bring them back. They look terrible. Those all whites that they wore recently, those look. But, yeah, no thank you on the. I'm anywhere between 1 and 3 right now. Give me winter wear of some sorts. Some shit you can put on in the wintertime when it's cold outside.
Okay.
Some shit you can put on.
5-inch inseam shorts.
That's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. And in fact, I always silently judge folks when I see them in a hoodie and shorts in like 40-degree weather. I'm like, you don't got the complete set on right now. You don't look right. You don't look complete. Get your ass back in the house. Put some real pants. I love 5-inch inseams in the summer. I ain't wearing that bitch in the wintertime. But I don't think we can be any higher than 2. But I think I think we're looking at 1. I don't think you would just go with 2 after I just went with 2. If you did, you're a bitch.
Whoa!
I'm just fucking.
Wow!
I'm gonna say. Well, I guess the worst thing you could wear is just underwear. So I don't know, but you're probably thinking at least wearing something. So yeah, I'm gonna go with 1. 1 for now. Maybe we could tease it. What happened there? Give me. Give me a song that you've heard.
A song that I've heard?
Any song.
Any.
No genre dependency here. No nothing. Just any song.
Jacob Sartorius sweatshirt.
We're definitely staring pretty hard at a 1 here. I don't think we could be looking at anything else right now. It's not looking good. But so it's 3 questions. Just to kind of verify my stance here. Just to verify one more time, then I can ask my final question. It'll just be a learn something about Brayden thing. But verify my question here. Give me an NFL head coach.
Okay. God. Let me look at NFL head coaches.
Jaguars head coach is Doug Peterson, by the way. If you needed to know.
You don't know what I think about Doug.
I can't imagine you're very high on him right now, but it's neither here nor there.
I'm looking at every team right now. Okay. Maybe. No.
There ain't that many 1 out of 10 head coaches. There's like 2 of them.
What are you trying to get from me right now? I can't. You're trying to get a secondary hint out of this.
Doug Peterson would be the one. Would be the first one that comes to mind. But I mean, who else? I don't even know if there is another 1 out of 10.
Give me Nick Sirianni.
I could live with Nick Sirianni being the pick here. I don't feel any better than one. I know we both fucking hate Nick Sirianni for reasons other than coaching. So, yeah, I still feel fine on the 1 out of 10. I got 1 question left, so give me. Give me a travel experience. Don't actually. That's not a real question.
I was like trying to pick which one.
Fuck, dude. Give me a TV show.
Okay. A TV show. Give me that new the newer, I guess I should say, Velma show.
So we're staring right down the barrel of a 1 out of 10 here. I'm not changing nothing. Nothing is giving me any indication that it's not 1. I'm gonna say 1. Final answer. Lock it.
It was 2. I thought it'd be funny to do your
off.
number.
You're lying your ass off, man. I mean, calm the fuck on, man.
Okay.
Packers yellow jerseys, and you're telling me
I couldn't think of other bad jerseys.
I don't know, man. You could have said the Cardinals' old uniforms.
The Cardinals' what uniforms?
Old uniforms.
They
updated them this year. I don't know.
I don't have a catalog of jerseys like that in my head.
But you remembered the fucking ugly ass pack, man. Whatever.
Because, like I said, I registered that one was bad. It's the only one
How is Sweatshirt a 2 out of 10 song? Wait a minute. Pause. What?
I was thinking like Everyday Bro would be number 1 or something like that, or the Rice Gum diss track.
There's enough songs for them to all be 1 out of 10.
Well, I thought like Rice Gum diss track should be in a tier below Sweatshirt. And then for the shorts for winter, I was thinking like just like flip flops.
Sure.
For like 1. And then since you were like Doug Peterson might be the only one, then I was like, okay, then what right above him would be Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, that was the only one that made me think it might be higher than 1, but the rest of your answers all sound like 1s.
Because what else was there?
What makes Velma a 2 out of 10 as opposed to a 1 out of 10?
I mean, they got a second season.
Like, whatever. Only because people hate watched the first one enough. Like that's hard.
Correct. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And then she dies. Like there's a little bit of like
lore.
No, I'm just like, oh well, if everything was bad, at least his character died.
Fair enough. All
And I
right.
think I had seen some funny clips with Fred being
All right, fair
like,
enough.
but funny. I don't know how intentional the humor was,
Right.
but yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Because I
there's
was thinking like
oh,
Steven Universe for a one.
okay, that's fair. Not a good show, um, despite what some folks would tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
Um,
Now is it time for top 3 of the week?
it sure is. Although some of us don't want to name names. Forgot pick actually figure out 3 of these.
Oh,
Um,
I don't have anything set up.
um, so hmm, got
Still gonna
I
get
think
into it.
I've got number 3 and I've got number 1. Number 2 I'm kind of sitting on right now, but okay.
Top 3 of the week. Smells.
What?
Smells.
Smells. Smell you later, loser. No. Smells, scents, that sort of thing. Um, if you are more nasally inclined, this is the segment for you.
Which I'm not. I
Strong
have a bad
nose.
nose.
I got me your schnoz on me.
Yeah, I know I've ridden it. I don't know
But,
what that was.
so, got ourselves a top 3 schnozzes segment coming up here. I have my number 3 ready. I have my number 1 ready. I'm still kind of hovering on. Actually, well, no, I've got number 2.
Which is
I've
interesting
got.
that you went 1-3, you figured out, but not 2.
Well, I knew I liked 1 enough to include it, but for it to not be number 2, and I knew what my number 1 was. I know what my number 2 is now, though.
Okay. Your number 3, sir.
It's quite literally basic by definition. I'm gonna go with vanilla. Anything vanilla.
Vanilla was
if I have vanilla coffee, I breathe that shit in. I love it. If I
all right.
like
We're
me
gonna
vanilla
duo this because vanilla was in
I
mine.
like some vanilla. So I fucks with
It's
vanilla.
because it's safe and smells good at the same
It's such
time.
a safe and if it doesn't matter who you bring over. If you light a vanilla scented candle, nobody's gonna be like, "Oh, put that shit out." They need to be put out if they don't like fucking vanilla.
Yeah.
It's such a safe everything.
It's almost
such
peaceful in a sense.
It's neutral, but it's pleasant. Like you're not gonna bother anybody with it. Nobody's gonna get mad at you for wearing a vanilla scent. Nobody's gonna get mad at you for lighting a vanilla candle, having a vanilla scented plug-in, whatever the case may be. If I walk into your house and you smell like vanilla, you're getting your dick sucked. All right. If your house smells like vanilla, I'm sucking your dick.
Google.
So,
Order 10 candles of vanilla.
but I gotta take my ass to Bath and Body Works today. But yeah, we'll do vanilla, a little vanilla.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna piggyback that as my number 3. So your number 2, sir.
A good old barbecue.
Mmm.
Lord have mercy. Do I love smelling me some smoked brisket? You got burgers going on the grill. Could have some hot dogs out there too if you want it. Some grilled chicken. You know, any barbecue food. Somebody's bringing the mac and cheese. Just barbecue in general, man. I can't get enough of the smell. I love barbecue. I can love it. Shout out barbecue. It's my dog. That's it. Don't have much else to say. Very, very easy.
Okay.
Very simple answer.
My number 2 then. I'm gonna go with the smell of hot chocolate. Because
yes.
I know what is about to go down when I smell some hot chocolate.
It doesn't smell like chocolate. It smells like hot chocolate. It's a different
it does smell different.
It's a very distinct smell too. And you're right. Every time I smell that shit,
I know I'm getting cozy.
It's game time.
I know I'm watching a little Christmas movie because that's usually when I'm drinking it. And I just know I'm in a good mood. I'm having good times. I'm in a good spirit because the Christmas spirit
is all around.
is in the house. And as y'all know, I've talked about it before. We experienced it on the podcast. I'm fucking Mr. Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm watching a Christmas movie December 1st through 25th, one a day. I need to go ahead and maybe start crafting up the list.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Never too early.
Never too early. But
Never
yeah,
too late.
I'm. Yeah, hot chocolate because we talked. We both share a love of Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I
Both
think
very
it's
fond of it.
both of our favorite holiday.
Easily.
But yeah, hot chocolate. It knows I'm getting into my like what I specialize in. If there's multiple like Mr. Christmases out there that we all are in charge of different duties. One's presents, one's decorating. If one is movies, it's me. That I will murder anyone who says
Go
different.
band for band with anybody else with Christmas movies. You got them. You got that shit on lock.
At
So,
least in terms of just quantity seen. Like, are you watching one a day like me? You really making time to watch one a day like me?
nobody is doing it like you.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Are you theming weekends? Are you doing like, hey, this is stop motion weekend? This is Vince Vaughn weekend? You're not theming them like me. Are you doing a theme day of like short movie Monday? Short film Monday? You're not doing it like me.
Nobody else has it like you.
And then,
Not a
besides the
single
movies, Dark Mystery. I got to get a new one, a bigger one.
Dark Mystery.
Dark Mystery. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, hot chocolate number 2.
Number 1.
You're number 1, sir.
Let's talk about it earlier in the pod when we first started, like 2 hours ago at this point, a little more than that, when I walked into my mom's house Saturday night. Whatever candle she's got going, when I walk in,
Whatever the
that's
fuck
my
that
favorite.
is.
Whatever, no, because it's a different one every time.
Oh,
Whatever
okay, I see
candle
what you're
she's
saying.
whatever candle she's got lit up when I walk in, that's my favorite scent. Because I know I just came home.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yes, sir.
Goop
She's got
candle?
that pussy candle. Yes, sir. Every single, I don't know, whatever my mom's house smells like, that's what I need. That's my favorite smell because it smells like home. It smells like how I grew up. You know, it smells like the house in Tennessee we lived in for like 6 years. You know, so it feels familiar. It feels safe. It feels inviting. You know, I know I'm about to have a good time. My mom and I are gonna do some drinking. She's gonna cook something real nice, especially around Christmas time. Kind of piggybacking off your last point. This holiday candle she gets going. I know I'm about to drink me some punch. I'm about to get knocked on my ass. It's gonna be great. And I just can't. Like, I can't wait. Could be a good time of year. But you're number 1, sir. What we got going on?
My nose has a favorite time of year as well because this next one is also Christmas related. It's the smell of icing, frosting, and sugar cookies because we're about to start decorating Christmas cookies as a family. Easily one of my favorite things we do every year. Make Christmas cookies. Decorate Christmas cookies. I make mine. I decorate, the batch gets made. I get one of each cut out. I decorate them. And I say, don't nobody else touch these fucking cookies. I made these for me to eat. Because one year, my mom was like, just put them in a big pan, a big pot. And it was just like, they're all mixed together. And it was just like, I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I made this for me. I'll share other things. We'll watch movies together. I got y'all presents. Don't touch my cookies. But yeah, smell of those sugar cookies, the frosting, the icing, or whatever. That's going to be my number 1.
So what I didn't know when I said give Bryce his job back was that Andy Dalton was in a car accident.
Oh my God, what?
But apparently he's okay. But his wife, kids, and dog were in the car too. Everybody's fine. But
Okay.
yeah, he was just involved in an accident. I guess it was probably a pretty good accident if it's being reported. Like, if it was like a fender bender, I don't think that'd be.
I don't know. I think NFL players, quarterbacks, I think it could be.
If somebody like tapped his bumper like at a red light or some shit, that wouldn't make news. Like, I think it was probably a decent accident, but
I don't know. As soon as if you just drive by on the road, you see the red rifle standing outside of a car.
If you're like, oh fuck, I just got into a car accident. You walk out the car and you see Andy Dalton. You're like, oh my God, that's Andy Dalton. Especially if it happens in Charlotte, like, you're probably a Panthers fan. Chances are. So
You're like, oh, you were cool for a week.
Oh my God, you gave us our only win this year. What's up?
You're the only reason I've smiled this whole season.
I had one good Monday this whole year. It's because of you, man. I had hope for a day. I appreciate it. So
yeah. But then now it's time for what we've been on.
Ooh, goody.
What you been on? Sir, you been on some music?
No. Yeah.
Uh,
Let me
yeah.
let me go. Let me go to new releases and let me go back to. Oh, what the fuck is that? Young Quagmire, Good Kid, Quag City. Apparently, it's something like this. I'm I'm just browsing the new releases, trying to get back to what the fuck is that album? Okay, it's like the Good Kid, Mad City band with some anime shouty on it. And I'm trying to get back to what is it? October 19th. There we go. Uh, Lifestyle by Yeet. Um, Pretty good. Pretty good. I don't know which Yeet album I from this year I prefer. I might prefer 2093 just a little bit. Excuse me, but I did like Lifestyle quite a bit. And then let's see what else came out. I haven't heard the new Bonnie Vare EP yet, so I'll have to check that out. But this new Gene Dawson album, Glimmer of God, was pretty good. So was this new Machine Girl album called MG Ultra. So I listened to all three of these albums. I enjoyed all three of these albums, and um, I don't know. I don't know what's coming out this Friday, but I know the following Friday I'm gonna go fucking stupid. There's so much music coming out
Estupe.
on November 1st that I'm also going clubbing on November 1st, probably. So we'll see.
Lame.
Fuck you. It's 80s night. uh,
Oh, lamer.
Whatever. Um, yeah, there's some other shit that I didn't listen to that I probably should. So maybe I'll put on something else at some. But um, yeah, new Boa album. I haven't heard it yet. Danny Brown released a deluxe for Guaranta. I haven't. I don't probably don't. I'm not gonna listen. Maybe I'll listen to it at some. I like the first album. Yeah, I still gotta check out that Bonnie Vare EP. I didn't know it was. I thought it was gonna be an album. It's not. It's just an EP. It's lame, but yeah. So I listened to all three of those albums I told you about. They're all really good. I was listening to a ton of Elliott Smith this week as well, which I always do, but like more so than usual. He's getting a remaster for his posthumous album 2 Fridays from now. Excited to listen to that. And I was telling Gabe, but I mean, and I guess by extension, I was telling you too, because I said it in the group chat. But he has my favorite discography ever. I would have to say, like, has to be for me. I think it's the most complete. I think it's the most like flawless discography that's ever been put out. I think it is like not every album is perfect, but at two, if not three of them are, and even the ones that aren't perfect are still fantastic. There's no blemish on it. There's nothing you can look at and be like, it was a little rough. Whatever. Even the posthumous like compilation album, it was like, here's some demos, here's some alternate versions of stuff. Even that was all good. There was nothing in there that felt like unfaithful to him or his career. So I just fucking love Elliott Smith, man. Shout out Elliott Smith. Put that shit on. I don't think I've done much else. I haven't. Oh, I never talk about this during the football segment for some reason. I always wait until what we're on. Tennessee beat the most important opponent they'll beat all year. Tennessee could go 1-11 if they beat Bama every year. I wouldn't even care.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, don't lie to
Okay,
me.
fine. Okay, 2-10 with wins against Bama and Florida every year. I wouldn't give a shit. No, but this is like the one game every year that I'm like, please just beat Bama, and we did. We have 2 of the last 3 years now, so that's very nice. Nico made some throws in this game too. He still missed some deep downfield, but I mean, he hit one just on a fucking rope, like got outside the pocket, threw on the run a fucking laser beam down the field to Dante Thornton. Insane throw, great catch too. Also, Jermod McCoy is a second-year cornerback for Tennessee. He's going to be a top 50 pick next, like 2 drafts from now. Jermod McCoy is incredible. Had an interception lined up against Ryan Williams in this game. And yes, Ryan Williams is only 17, but Jermod McCoy is only 19. It's not like Jermod McCoy is fully developed either. The guy is insane. Just great physical corner. Just locking dudes up every single week. Hasn't had a bad game this year yet. And I mean, he looked good last year against Oregon State. He was like first team All Pac-12 as a freshman at Oregon State last year. Transferred to Tennessee, immediately took the number 1 cornerback job, and he has been lights out all season long. He looks fantastic. So it's nice. It's just nice having at least one good player in the secondary. It's something we've been missing for a long. Alontae Taylor was pretty good. Kamal Hadden was solid last year. McCoy's better. And Alontae Taylor, I think, was like the 47th pick in the draft. If Alontae Taylor can go pick 47, Jamal McCoy can go round. He is awesome. So shout out Jamal McCoy. Shout out James Pierce. Going to be one of the first edge rushers taken this year. He is over a 20. He's like a 23.6% pressure rate or some shit, like insane. Just getting pressuring the quarterback at least at elite level. He's not converting all of them to sacks. He's also not on the field a lot during rundowns, so that's going to matter. He's a little slimmer, so not a prototypical run defender. That's going to matter when he gets to the draft. But I mean, at the very least, great, just phenomenal pass rusher. So. Yeah, love James Pierce. Shout out James Pierce. Shout out Jamal McCoy. Shout out Dylan Sampson. Our Dylan RB1 in any of the class. Sampson, my best friend. But that's it. I haven't really been watching movies lately. I haven't been watching many TV shows, so I don't got nothing else to report.
Yeah, I'm one episode behind on the Penguin, so I got to check that shit out. Let's see. I played the new Mario Party game, Mario Party Jamboree. As a new series has just debuted on the channel. I think we went with the name like Couch Gaming. Me and a friend of mine, Jay, we played Mario Party together. I think we're gonna keep playing some games together, posting them up on the channel. Mario Party was I lost, so it fucking sucked. But jokes aside, I mean, like the game is fun. The game was cool. I finished that history of every Transformers video coming out this Saturday. Super stoked.
Banger inbound, yes sir.
Banger definitely inbound, dude. Yeah, it's a good one. I think that's it. I've teased this because I teased the video like a long time ago, and then like I stopped working on it for a bit. And I'm back onto working about it, so I've talked about it before. But that Freaks and Geeks video, I've just been watching through the commentaries of it, getting like just trying to get as much as I can, writing, shooting, and editing, recording, doing all that as I go. So we're making good progress on that video, but yeah, I mean, that show is fucking awesome, because the last episode I saw was the one I had talked about on this channel before, about like kind of your dream, like pursuing your dream versus like reality, like pursuing your dream versus like just doing what maybe you kind of need to do more than what you want to do at times. Yeah. Great episode. Jason Segel, best actor in that show. But anyways, that show's great. Can't wait to finish that video. But that'll be a while though. This video is taking a long time, as it should. It's gonna be when it's done. It's gonna be so good when it's done though. But yeah, I think that's it for me. So I'm good. I'm good to end it. You got anything else?
Here. I don't know. Love yourself. Take care of yourself.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching one of the longer episodes.
Yeah,
we've had in a while.
I think I had a good time.
We're at 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Also, fuck Deshaun Watson.
if you couldn't read in between the lines
from the 15 minutes I spent.
I know it was a pretty what's the word I'm looking for? We didn't come out and say it. It was kind of.
It was pretty beating around the bush.
Yeah, pretty vague on our opinion.
Yeah. Maybe I didn't clarify enough earlier. Fuck Deshaun.
Thank you so much for watching. Next week's video, as always, is going to be over on Avillion Talks channels. So like this video, subscribe to me, subscribe to him, comment anything down below. That's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, keep gaming.
Deuces.